And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank you for being here tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. Thank y'all for joining. We got a whole lot happening all over the internet, all over social media, all over the place. A whole lot going on. The Rittenhouse case is still ongoing. The jurors can't come to a conclusion for some reason. It should be an open and shut case, right? It really shouldn't be that much to discuss. It shouldn't be that much to deliberate. But here we are talking about the Rittenhouse case yet again. What's going to be the verdict? Is it going to be innocent, guilty, guilty on some things, innocent of others? We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, PBS tried to bring on a Chinese activist by the name of Ai Weiwei to attack Trump, to throw Trump and Trump supporters up under the bus, but it didn't go very well for PBS. They did not get the answer that they were looking for. We'll talk about that as well. Also, we got to talk about Kamala Harris possibly being out. She might have to go somewhere else, just not the vice president anymore. Oh, but I was told that this administration is so progressive and so forward thinking, all this, that, and the third. But if that's the case, then I can't tell. I surely cannot. Also, Gibraltar, known for the Rock of Gibraltar, is the most vaxed place on planet Earth with 118% vax rate, but they canceled Christmas because of an outbreak of the bug. Does it make sense? It doesn't. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you enjoy what you have heard thus far, if you enjoyed what you hear throughout the week through my different programs, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And we're going to get into it. We got a whole lot going on. But first, shout out to all the sponsors very quickly. Thank you guys for buying some flags off of bhedesigns.com. Again, bhedesigns.com. You can get these flags that are behind me or one of your very own through the link in the description box below. Also, go to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on the internet. It's been around for a very long time right here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, 25 years plus. Again, patriotpost.us. Check them out. Also, check me out. I got new merch. I got more merch coming. ablmerch.com. Use promo code. What's on promo code right now? Matter of fact, let me check it out right quick. Give me one moment, and we're going to get into it. The promo code is Patriot. So use promo code Patriot to get 20% off your next order on my website, ablmerch.com. I design everything. I try to source everything. I'm really hands-on with it. So if there's any suggestions for particular merch you want to see, y'all just let me know in the email. And the email's on my official website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONYBLOGAN.com. Go to the contact page. All my info is right there. My snail mail, my email, my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Links are all right there on anthonyblogan.com. So we got a lot to get into. We're really going to get into it. J.L. Anderson says, how can it be 118% vaccinated? A very good question. I'm going to get to that. Just to know that they're beyond vaccinated. Everybody has the vax. Everybody that can get it has it, but yet they have a very high rate of the bug. And they have to wear masks and stuff. And the whole thing about Gibraltar is that it's an outdoor place. So why are they wearing masks? The whole point is to go to that big rock right there, right? The Rock of Gibraltar, that's the whole point. It's a big limestone ridge that basically is a big rock. And that's the whole purpose of Gibraltar. And yet you have a very high rate of the bug floating around. What is it for? I'm going to get to that. I promise I will. But first, we still got this Rittenhouse case. Now, matter of fact, hold on. Before I get to Rittenhouse, actually, I'm going to stick with Gibraltar. I'm going to stick with Gibraltar because this it underlines the whole point about this whole vax thing being nonsense. Now, as I was saying, to get back on track, Gibraltar, I need to pull up a map right quick, actually, just so we can be on the same page. You have Spain, or actually the landmass, the Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain and Portugal. But there's also other little things right there. And I'll explain that. Give me 1 second here. So let's pull up a map. Okay, so here is, you see this part right here, Portugal, Spain, that, and once you get to Andorra, all of that, right below this line, that's France right there, right below that line, that's the Iberian Peninsula. And a lot of this area was conquered by the Moors, the North Africans back in the day, and then it was Islamic. That's why there's certain words in Spanish that also come from Arabic, like sucre, al sucre, that's where sugar comes from, but they call it sucre. Anyway, so the point is that this is Spain, Portugal right there, and all the way at the bottom on the southern tip of Spain, right between, this strait right here is Morocco. So once you get past this strait, that's Morocco. Now, I heard that some guys, when they get tired of living in Morocco, they try to swim from right there in Ceuta, which is a Spanish enclave. They try to swim from Ceuta over to Gibraltar or somewhere kind of close right there. Anyway, Gibraltar, as you see it highlighted, this is actually a British territory. And right there, let me turn the terrain on. See that right there? That really dark part? That is the Rock of Gibraltar. So that's pretty much the whole point of this little territory, is because of the rock, and I guess tourism, and I guess it's because of its location geographically. You're right there at the entrance of the Mediterranean from the Atlantic Ocean. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, so Gibraltar is having a really big outbreak of the bug despite being 118% vaxxed. And what that means is everyone in the territory has the vax, who's able to get the vax, and also some of those who live over in Spain, who come across the border all the time, like right over here, they might live right there. What's that? La Línea de Concepción? They might come from right there over the border every day. You understand what I'm saying? So they're counting people that do that a lot as well as part of the vaxxed population. So 100% of all the Gibraltar permanent residents and some people that come across all the time that kind of count as somewhat Gibraltar residents, although they may live in Spain in reality. 118% vax rate in Gibraltar, yet they canceled Christmas. All Christmas festivities are being canceled, and they're encouraging you to stay indoors, or not stay indoors, pardon me. Limit your family gatherings, limit any kind of indoor gatherings, and wear a mask at all times. So they're making you wear the mask, they're making you get the shot, and they're trying to say you got to get the booster shot. I saw the other day where Boris Johnson said that in the future, in the very near future here, you would not be counted as vaxxed if you don't have the booster. So what does that mean? Well, they're coming out with boosters every 3 months. You might have to get 3-4 shots a year. It'd be more than the flu shot. The flu shot is one time a year, and there's no requirement. There's no mandate on the flu shot. If you want to get it, go get it. I've never had a flu shot in my adult life. Maybe I had a flu shot when I was a baby before I went to school or something, but never when it was a choice. Don't want to get the flu shot? No, I'm straight. I'm not dead yet, so it must be okay. But anyway, never had a flu shot, and it was never mandated. But here we are, where they're mandating the vax. Despite all that, vax mandate, mask mandate, very high rate of infection. They said it was exponential rate. And apparently they know that the vax is wearing off. Now that's how you got to get the booster. You're going to be getting that every 2 or 3 months. If it's going to be mandated, how can you say you're fully vaxxed if you don't have the booster? And my question to anybody that is vaxxed, and understand me, I'm not trying to judge you for my question. Please don't take it that way. I'm not judging you. But my question is very simple. If you are vaxxed, if you got the 2-shot vax or the 1-shot Johnson & Johnson earlier in the year, do you want to get the booster? And do you want to get shots throughout the year in perpetuity? Because that's what it's kind of sounding like. They're talking about shots in perpetuity and pills. They can put you on pills and possibly shots forever. An article came out. Matter of fact, hold on, I'm gonna try to find that right quick. I think it was on Bloomberg. What was the actual thing? Bloomberg said, how long will boosters last? Meaning, how long will you need to be taking them? Not necessarily how long will it be, will it work for you? How long does the efficacy? How long are they going to last? And I think there was a tweet along with this, and they were saying, well, we need to kind of reevaluate how we're looking at these shots, because it's not just going to be one and done. It's going to be all the time, forever. And anybody could have seen this. Like, I call this, I'm not calling myself Nostradamus. I'm no rocket scientist. I'm not the psychic or anything like that from the TV back in the day. I'm not like Miss Cleo. You know, you call it 800 number, you get a psychic reading. I'm not that. I'm just saying this is obvious to see, because we know that there is a certain level, a certain limit to how effective the vax is, if it is at all effective. If it is effective, there's a limit to its effectiveness, and it's going to wear off. So you got to get more shots, more shots, more shots. It's simple. Pfizer going to get the first dibs on it because they kick out the most money. That's just how it goes. And the question is it even working? Because in the same article about Gibraltar being the most vaxxed place on earth, with 118% vax rate canceling Christmas because of an outbreak, an exponential outbreak of the bug, there's also other places that have the same thing. And somebody asked me, I was reading the comments, and somebody asked me once or twice, why does it even matter? That's them over there. That's Spain, UK, that's Europe. What's it got to do with us? Well, if you're living in a place where you have a vax mandate and you want to comply to the vax mandate, or you don't want to comply to the vax mandate, this is going to be the future. This is what they're going to do. They're going to say, okay, it's not working. We're starting to get overwhelmed to get in the hospital. So now we got to just do more and more and more and more. And we need more money from the federales to be able to do it, because you may be able to get a quote unquote free shot, but it's not free. You don't pay right there, like I guess you would say at the pump, but you're paying on the back end through your taxes, through inflation, from all this money printing. The government will go out there, and to explain that right quick, this whole thing about inflation, people don't really seem to understand that. For some reason, you guys are brilliant in the chat. You guys are rocket scientists, 3 million IQ. So you guys understand, but some people don't understand. You have young people that are just trying to learn, or those who just may not get it. Now, the issue with inflation and this whole thing with the vax and spending is when the government prints all this money, trillions of dollars, they don't have it. They don't have it to spend, okay? So what happens is they print the money to fund it, and the money printing makes money less valuable. Think about like diamonds, right? Rarity is part of what makes diamonds valuable. If you were to go outside and you saw diamonds on the ground like gravel, like rocks everywhere, it wouldn't be valuable. I mean, in reality, diamonds are rocks, but the kind of rock that they are is rare, kind of rare. That's a different story. I won't get into how they make it purposely rare, but anyway, you don't really just go outside and find diamonds on the ground like that, so it's rare. But you do find rocks on the ground. So imagine if you found a bunch of money just laying on the ground everywhere. It'd cost you a lot more to get a particular thing, because everybody has a bunch of money. So you got to, pay more and more and more and more and more. It never ends, never stops. It's an ongoing cycle. That's what's going on here. And when they keep printing more money, it makes you get this big supply. Everybody has it. Now you got to raise the cost. And also, you have a problem with supply. Part of that is because everybody has so much money, they're buying everything. And people can't keep up with the demand. It's like people every time I put something out there, it keeps selling out over and over because everybody has so much money. So in order to control the supply and demand thing, with all this artificial money, I have to raise the price of my goods and services. I got to raise it up. I can't keep up with demand. If I keep getting this demand with my price the way it is, I will never be able to keep up. I'm going to go out of business. So I got to raise the price. That's inflation. That's how it happens. And some are going to say, well, it shouldn't really matter because if you don't consume anything, who cares? If you're not such a consumer and keep eating and whatnot, then who cares, right? If you don't want to go out there and buy the new iPhone 35, then it shouldn't matter. Stop being a consumer. Stop being the pig, all this, that, and the third. First of all, at a certain point, you got to consume. You may not necessarily be a big consumer, but you got to consume. You got to be able to eat. You got to be able to have electricity and water and stuff like that living in America, right? You got to have it. Okay, so you have to consume somewhat. But even if you are not a consumer and you're like one of these people that go on these shows, the extreme cheapskates where they're reused paper towels, where they go dumpster diving to find kitchenware. Even if you're real cheap like that and don't spend any money, your money that you do have in savings becomes less valuable. And you got a very low interest rate. So you may try to put your money into an interest-bearing account, but you're not getting any interest because you got a basically 0% interest rate. The money in the bank makes no money. You lose the money on the money because it becomes less valuable. So even if you don't spend, you're spending. You can spend $0 and still lose 10% of your money because of inflation. That's what happens. So I'm not sure how I got there on the whole inflation tip, but that's what's happening. Oh, and the reason why I got there is because of this whole thing with the vax, where they keep passing these bills and they keep having Big Pharma tax the government. The government will tax you. The government does not generate money. The government takes your money and spends it. So when you see them in Congress talking about, oh, we got to have this big spending bill, $4.8 quadrillion, it's for you. And your life remains the same. Your life doesn't change. And as a matter of fact, the only thing that does change in your life is that when you go to the grocery store, your dollar goes, it's not stretching this far. When you try to buy some milk, bread, or whatever you buy, it's going to cost more. That's the only change you see. Your regular everyday life is the exact same. Your job is the same. Your neighborhood is the same. It's all the same except for you pay more money. But the reason why you pay more money is because of this bill that they said was going to help you to have a better life. How does it make any sense? It doesn't, but I digress. Government has gotten way too big, way too corrupt. Big Pharma is just part of it. These deep state swampites, they're making it really bad. There was a House hearing today about an anime video. I lie to you not. I'm not making it up. Matter of fact, we gotta see the anime video. If you ever seen Attack on Titan, now I'm gonna explain what happened and then I'm gonna get to the video. I gotta find it right quick, so y'all hang tight. What happened was Paul Gosar tweeted a video that somebody had made. I'm not really sure who did it, but it was based on Attack on Titan. And a brief synopsis, it's an anime, and part of the whole thing is that you go around killing these big monsters and whatnot. It has some political narratives. And one of the monsters was, I think, AOC. So I think it showed somebody. It might have been the anime character with Paul Gosar's head or something like that, killing the big monster with AOC's face. Not in a really necessarily violent way, but in an Attack on Titan. It is what it is. So for that video, they say, oh, you're threatening violence against AOC. So they censored him today. They had a whole hearing about that today. Meanwhile, they're getting paid to do that. They got to pay increase to do that. Now, do you think your tax money should be spent in that fashion? Is that how we're going to spend tax money? I mean, that shouldn't be what's going on, but it is. It really is. Attack on Titan, the anime. If you've never seen it, check it out. It might be a little while. Might take some time. Watch one of those little condensed versions if you don't really have time. But I'm trying to find it because I think they censored it a lot. They censored it pretty heavily. It's hard to really find, but I am going to find it. Matter of fact, I think I have a favorited tweet or something here. I'm going to go to it right quick. Y'all hang on. Oh, here it is. There we go. This is on, shout out to, what's this, Gab? or one of these places. Shout out to them for having it. Okay, so let's play this. This is on National File. Hold on one second. Maximize it? Okay, I guess I can't. Let's do it this way. Get some sound. All right, I don't want to get strikes, so I'm gonna turn some of the music off. But you can see pretty much what's going on here. They got a southern border, and a big part of Attack on Titan is they got a big border wall to keep the monsters out. So here's the person that kills the Titans, and I guess that's AOC right there. Was a big Titan that got killed. So this video right here was enough to make a whole hearing today happen, an anime video. And I guess Joe Biden was a big monster that he was going to kill. Okay, I promise I'm not making this up. I promise. This is a real video. So that right there got Paul Gosar censored. Now I'm like, man, come on. That was... I enjoyed that video. Like, what was the big, why go through all that? Why have this big thing trying to censor him over that? Like, really, come on. Is that what we're going to do with taxpayer money? You see what I'm saying? They waste your money. They pretty much take your money by gunpoint and burn it in front of you. Burn it. Man, so yeah, that was on National File. Matter of fact, hold on. I'll put a link to that in the chat right here so you guys can see it. And I'm going to title it AOT video. I'm going to hit it a few times just to make sure it goes in there. There you go. AOT video. Link is right there in the chat. So, yeah, that's what that is. America has gone soft. That's right, Ryan James. Very soft, because really that was just a funny video. It shouldn't really be anything. But, you know, they're trying to find something to get offended at, something to get triggered at, and that's what it is. Quite frankly, I want to see a full series. You know what I want to see? I want to see an anime like that, fleshed out in full, like a real series. You know, have somebody in Japan do it so they can't get accused of trying to attack people in the U.S. You know, that's what I want to see. Okay, and let somebody in the U.S. do some subs, or have the whole thing be in Japan. That's what I want to see. But see, stuff like that, you know, people, and you know what I'm going to say? I think most people who saw that on the left, probably not even really mad at it. They're probably not really mad. What they're mad, the reason why they said anything is because it's always this battle between the left and the right. It's always this whole thing about trying to get, and the battle is about trying to get money. Let's be 100% clear. It's about trying to get money. It's not about right versus wrong and good versus evil. It's all about trying to get that paper, and that's it. That's really what it is, right? So yeah, shout out to everybody in Congress upset with that, and shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys have been fantastic so far. If you enjoy what you have heard thus far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Somebody asked me about Young Dolph. I'm going to address him right quick because that's a topic right now, just real quick. So Young Dolph was a rapper, kind of hard to really say, like, he's not necessarily one of the biggest rappers, but he was well known. If you follow rap, I put it to you like that. If you follow rap, he was very well known. Out of Memphis, born in Chicago, raised in Memphis. Now, he got killed today at about 1 o'clock at a cookie spot. Seriously. He went to the cookie place to get some cookies for his mom because he happened to be in Memphis where he grew up. And as he was leaving to go back to his mom's house, I suppose, Somebody rolled up on him and shot up through the car that he was driving. Killed him right there on the spot. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Just middle of the daytime, getting cookies, get killed right there. And this is so common. And my thing, and rest in peace to Young Dolph and prayers out to his family. But see, this happens all the time. This is a normal kind of occurrence, unfortunately. Rappers getting killed, guys, popular, well-liked guys in the hood getting killed. This is so common. It's really unfortunate. And it makes me think that people that are out there, well, you know what? I know people who are out there so-called protesting against Kyle Rittenhouse could not care less about Young Dolph. They couldn't care. They don't even know what that is. They don't care. They know who Kyle Rittenhouse is. Why do they care about Kyle Rittenhouse? Why you got so many black folks out there protesting against Kyle Rittenhouse? For what? Nobody that he shot and or killed was black. Nobody. So what are we even doing? Matter of fact, I saw this, I guess it's a meme or just a picture of these so-called protesters. Now, I think that a lot of these so-called protesters love the white man more than what they know. Okay. So these are two protesters. Well, I guess one guy's a protester, one guy may not. You can pretty much tell who is who. And they're a little bit too close for comfort. Now they're not kissing, but this is a little bit too close. I don't know. If I'm protesting against you and all this and that, I'm not trying to get that close to your face, right? I'm not trying to have my nose touch your nose, right? I'm just not trying to do it. Okay. If you're a man and I'm getting that close, then at that point we got to fight. Like before we get that close, we got to fight. And if you're a young lady, that's called me too. I'm not trying to get, I'm not trying to have a lawyer call me on the phone talking about, well, you touch my client's nose. I'm not going to do it. Give me a buffer area, sir. And if you can't give me a buffer, why is that? Do you love me so much you got to be all at my grill? These people love and idolize the white man more than themselves, more than their own community. This guy's all in the white man's face, don't even care about Young Dolph or anybody else that dies in the hood. Don't even care. So, you know what I'm saying? People talking about, oh, ABL, you wanna protect the white man. Hey, man, I'm just talking about, I'm just saying the truth. And I tell you what, you would never find ABL rubbing noses with some random man in the street. You're never going to find that. White, black, Puerto Rican, candy stripe. You would never see me in the street rubbing noses with another man. I'm not trying to have your goatee touch my chin. That ain't the wave. It's not the wave, period. Okay? And again, if you're a young lady, get out my face. I'm married, and I'm not trying to have no Gloria R. red on my back, breathing down my neck, trying to extract money so I'm good money. I'm gonna back all the way up. Okay? Give me about 50 feet. I'm giving you the football shove. But anyway, the whole Kyle Rittenhouse case, I don't understand. Why are they out there protesting? Why are Black Lives Matter people protesting? And I'm not making it about race. Somebody asked me, because I asked that question, why are all these black folks protesting? Oh, ABL, why make it about race? I'm not making it about race, but you had people out there that are making it about race. You have Black Lives Matter out there protesting the Kyle Rittenhouse situation because they don't want him to get off. But why? This is white on white violence. What's that got to do with you? If a white guy kills 2 or 3 other white guys, how is that anti-black violence? What's that got to do with it? Why do you have all these people, your Joy-Ann Reid and everybody, complaining about it? Why? Not saying one word about Young Dolph. Not saying one word about all these black kids that get killed all over the country. Not just in one city, Chicago, Philadelphia, LA, Los Angeles, Dallas, Houston, everywhere. You had a whole war, it was a whole war after Mo 3 got killed in, what was that, Dallas? You had 20-something guys that got shot and killed after that in like a 2 or 3 month period in one city. Like 20 guys. Where was the media talking about that at all? How about all their families and friends and the kids and the wives, baby mamas? We're not worried about that over there. We're going to just ignore that. All these dead black folks, kids, 15-year-olds, we're not worried about that. Let's focus on Kyle Rittenhouse. And then they say, oh, if it was a black man, they would have shot him right away. You had, Timothy Simpkins in Arlington, Texas, close to Dallas. Timothy Simpkins brought a gun to school, shot 4 people. One of them almost died. And he was able to get out of jail on bond. They threw him a party. It was like a birthday party. Fried chicken, Sprite, family on them hugging them, posting pictures with hearts on it. They gave him a party after he done shot 4 people, including a white man inside the school with a gun that he brought to school. A school shooter. Did he get killed? Did he get treated? They gave him bond. But on the other hand, Kyle Rittenhouse, in a clear case of self-defense, been in jail, got to get this crazy lawyer team, spending all types of money. Come on. Like, at a certain point, we got to stop these fake narratives. And these people, I'm not sure who they are. Those that are out there protesting, where did they come from? Who hired them? Who brought them on to do this? That's what I want to know. I'm trying to find out. If anybody knows, y'all please let me know in the comments. But I'd love to find out for sure. Right? I most certainly love to know. Yeah, black privilege. That's a real thing. People want to ignore it, but it's right in front of your face. How can you ignore it? How can you just, how do you refuse to just look at what's happening around you? It's clear. But anyway, I'll move right along. So, Kamala Harris. Now, Kamala Harris might be out. Hold on, before I get to that. Somebody says ABL's platform is predicated on freedom of speech, but I can't use the F word. Well, I mean, freedom of speech means you can't get locked up for saying certain things. That's all that it means. But you can have rules in the place. I mean, it's all about where you are. It's all about having a sense of just respect for where you at. You know what I'm saying? I agree with freedom of speech, but I also would not go to my mom's house and start cussing in front of my mom. I respect my mother. I respect my parents. I respect family members. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to my grandma's house talking about FUB because I respect my grandmother. I respect my family. I'm not going to do that there. I got freedom of speech, but I also got respect too. You know what I'm saying? And then beyond that, we got little kids watching. So it's not just you in the bubble doing what you want to do by yourself. You got 4-year-olds watching. So is it appropriate to be like F this, F that around a little kid? Is that what you do in your house? I hope not, but I digress. I mean, hey, for everything that you do, there's a time and a place. Very simple, but I'll move on. I just happened to see that comment right there. I wanted to respond. That's all I wanted to say. But I shall continue with what I was saying. So Kamala Harris might be out. Now, there's a rumor. Of course, it's a rumor, but it's a credible rumor. There's been a lot of talk kind of behind the scenes about Kamala Harris not doing a very good job, cackling, a bunch of gabs and things of that nature. Now, here's this. People are correctly pointing out that Joe Biden is not necessarily doing a great job with all the gabs and, touching on kids and stuff like that, clearly. But I think those who are in charge would rather have Joe Biden be there and all his gaffe glory than Kamala Harris. And they know that Joe Biden is pretty much done. He pretty much is a wrap. He has 2 feet in the proverbial grave. He could croak at any moment. And they know that. They know his time is, he's on the hourglass, got a few grains of sand left. A few grains of sand. It's about to expire. They know that. So they know the line of succession. They don't want to have Kamala Harris become the president if Biden was just to croak one day at the stand in front of the podium. So they want to remove her and get ahead of the game. So when Joe Biden has to leave for whatever the reason may be, she would not become the president. Who do they want to become the president? I'm not really sure. Line of succession says that you will have, so if the president goes and you have the vice president, then you have Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. So is that who we want to become? Rumor has it that the House are trying to do some special hearings to appoint people. And they don't normally do that, but they do it for House members after just, if there's a House vacancy, they would do it. And also for the vice president or the president, if I'm not mistaken, they got to confirm them. Like there's a nomination, they confirm them. So let's say, for example, Kamala Harris was to get out. It was a wrap for her. Then it's like, all right, now who are we going to put right there? That, I think, is going to be the next thing that happens. And I'm not sure what they're going to do. They're probably going to try to smear her through the media to have her approval totally go away. It's already low. Kamala Harris, I think, thought she had this shield of this identity shield, black, female, intersectional. You're also Indian. You thought you had a shield by doing that, but you don't have a shield by doing that. See, you have a shield when you interact with the right. The left would use their identity against the right in a weaponized way. So you have a shield when it comes to that. But then when it comes to the left, you don't have that shield. That shield does not exist. They don't care about your identity over there. They only care about that publicly. But if you're not doing the right thing, if you're kind of just getting in the way, they'll get you out of there. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care about none of that. Just like when Joe Biden was on that Zoom call with all those black folks, Congressional Black Caucus, and said a bunch of crazy things, screaming on them, cussing and everything else. It was crazy. Nobody said a word. Nobody said a word. Now imagine if Trump were on that same call with those same people. They'd be screaming and crying and carrying on. It'd be a documentary about it right now today. You would be able to see a documentary about the time that Trump screamed on a bunch of black people in the room. You could see that on air every night on CNN. Like they got out them January 6th documentaries. There'd be another one talking about June 25th or whenever Joe Biden screamed on those black folks. So it'd be a documentary about that as well. But you don't have that because it's Joe Biden and it's Democrats. The same rules do not apply to them. They could be racist toward black folks over there. So you know what? I'm going to say this. I kind of feel where some of these black folks are coming from when they talk about people being, there's always this thing about racism all the time. I kind of feel where they're coming from, but at the same time, they don't really understand what's happening. They don't understand why they are experiencing racism. You see, they seek out racist people. They seek out stuff like they want to get appointed to a job because they're black, right? They want everything to be based on their identity. And then when things do not go the right way because of their identity, then they want to cry about it. But it was like, nah, don't cry now because you weren't crying when you got something in your benefit because of your identity. You weren't crying when you got the job promotion because of your identity. But now because they want you to be out as the vice president because of your identity, now you want to cry about it. Nah, you wanted this. You wanted the racism to benefit you. But now it's not benefiting you. You want to cry about it. Don't do that. Accept it. If you are engaging in racism for a good thing, engage in it when it's not going good. Take the good with the bad. That's part of the deal, right? So I kind of understand when they're talking about, oh, all these white folks are racist. It's because they want to be around the racist whites and the racist blacks. That's why they have these negative outcomes. You know, see, when you come to the right, you really don't experience that because we're not going to give you things based on your identity. At the same time, we won't take things from you from that same reason. It's a double-edged sword. You can't have one without the other. You can't be given a thing for a particular reason without that same reason being used to take it away. It goes both ways. So that's why they want to stay over there. They like the benefits of their identity, but the drawbacks are bad. You don't have that over here. So I see where they're coming from, but they got to get out of that mentality of trying to get everything because of their identity. But anyway, so we'll see what happens with Kamala Harris if she gets kicked out of office or what. But I think they don't want her to be the next president. She was not liked during the primary when she ran for president. Remember that? She was polling at like 0%. She was behind Buttigieg and I think Amy Klobuchar, all these random people, Marianne Williamson, remember her? All these people that have no chance of ever doing anything like this again. They have no chance of becoming the president. The only reason why Joe Biden won is because of some funny stuff happening, allegedly, and also because, the main reason was because the media did a very good job of making Trump be the boogeyman. That's really what it was. It was that, and my last thing, it was name recognition. People know Joe Biden is from the Obama administration. So they think when they vote in Joe Biden, they're getting Obama 2.0. And they kind of are, but they aren't. They're getting the worst version of Obama. They're getting Jimmy Carter. They wanted Obama, they're getting Jimmy Carter. They're getting Jimmy Carter at his age right now. Okay, is he still living? Hold on. I think he is still living. Or he might have just died like the other day. Yeah, he's still, my man's 97 years old. Almost 100. You getting Jimmy Carter at his age right now and Joe Biden. The same policies, but extremely old. You're getting a fossil on leg. You're getting an animate fossil. You're getting a breathing fossil with these bad policies and making the country just go into despair. That's what you're getting right now. You wanted Obama? Nope. You're getting a 1,000-year-old Jimmy Carter. But hey, that's their choice. Now, I don't judge anybody. If you made a mistake, just admit to it. Be like, you know what, it's my fault. I won't do it again. Okay, cool. That's great. Water under the bridge. But don't do it again, because if you want these same policies, if you want this same bad country direction, if you want that same thing, then do the same thing again. And if you don't want that, do something else. It's kind of basic logic. 97 years old, a fossil. Anyway. And you know what? I could say that the ballot did X, Y, and Z, the vote, but hey, you know what? The Googles are watching, but y'all know what it is. Shout out to all the states that passed voter integrity laws, and shout out to all the people on the left who fled their states, meaning Texas. You know, they left talking about, oh, this law is racist, all this and that and the third. Now, I have a question to all those who left Texas when it was time to vote. Okay, if you leave in the state, first of all, who paid for it? I mean, that's not a free thing to get a chartered flight, number one, and number two, to be in D.C. for like 2 or 3 weeks a month. That's not going to be very cheap. An Airbnb in D.C. proper, that's not going to be cheap. Who's paying for that? And then finally, if you're not there for a month and things are still going on, do we even need you? You could just leave permanently. That'd be fantastic. Leave permanently and let us take over. Everything was going good without you, right? That's how I feel about Pete Buttigieg taking quote unquote paternity leave. For what reason, I have no idea. You're doing that. Meanwhile, nothing changes while you're gone. You don't contribute anything that matters. Why do we have you there? Take a permanent vacation and don't get paid to do it. Let's trim down this big, overwhelming, bloated government. What we're getting right now is like Nazi Germany and also China. And shout out to Ai Weiwei for pointing that out. Now, Ai Weiwei, he's a Chinese activist and artist. And if you didn't see my video, I'm going to play some of it right here. It's like a minute long, very quick clip. Now, I think the reason why PBS brought him on is because they wanted him to try to throw Trump under the bus. Because he has a new book out. I think it's called 1,000 Years of Joys and Sorrows. I think it's about the Mao Zedong regime. Don't quote me on that. But regardless, there's a piece of the book that's talking about what Mao would do as far as messaging. And he compared what Trump did with the late night tweets to what Mao did to galvanize his followers. So, of course, the media saw that and they're like, okay, cool, let's get him on. Let's have him say that Trump is the equivalent to Mao Zedong. That was the thought process, in my humble opinion, right? But it didn't quite go that way. And I'm glad that it didn't, because I like when the media are called out on things like this that they do, or they try to do, that don't go the way they intended. Now, matter of fact, here it is. Let's get this on the screen. This is Ai Weiwei, Chinese activist, talking about Mao Zedong and talking about Trump, really, Because I think the question was, is Trump an authoritarian? And you're going to see his answer. Not quite what they were expecting.
In your book, you're describing the directives of Mao Zedong during the Cultural Revolution that would be distributed publicly every night. And then you write, this is your quote, they served a function similar to Donald Trump's late night tweets while in office. They were the direct communication of a leader's thoughts to his devoted followers, enhancing the sanctity of his authority. So, do you see Donald Trump as an authoritarian?
I don't, if you're authoritarian, you have to have a system in supporting you. You cannot just be authoritarian by yourself. But certainly in United States, with today's condition.
That face right there, is that a face of, like, this face is concerned. This is like, this is not what we wanted. But anyway, we'll keep on going. I'll back up a little bit without interrupting.
But certainly in United States, with today's condition, you can easily have an authoritarian. In many ways, you're already in the authoritarian state. You just don't know it.
How so?
Many things happens today in US can be compared to Cultural Revolution in China.
Like what?
Like people trying to be unified in certain political correctness. That is very dangerous.
Right on point. So that was Fire in Line with Margaret Hoover on PBS. There's a full 30-minute video of them doing an interview. And I put that on my website, anthonyblogan.com, in a recent video I did about that particular subject. I think my headline is like, PBS tries to use Ai Weiwei to bash Trump backfires. On that one, there should be a link in there for the full video. It might be embedded on the actual page itself. But yeah, what he said right there was 100% true. It's like, the thing about Trump is you got to have support. You can't just be an authoritarian by yourself. You see, Trump did not have support, and that was part of the problem. There was so much kickback from the establishment against Trump on the left and the right. Obviously, the media, you got all these paramilitary, Black Lives Matter, Antifa. You had all these people against him. Regular moms and dads turned against him. Families torn apart over this whole situation of politics because of what the media did, the propaganda. You can't be an authoritarian by yourself, but if you have a support system, you can. So Joe Biden has that. Joe Biden has the House, the Senate, the mainstream media, regular normies that don't know any better, brainwash, demoralize people. He has that. So if you want to just have an authoritarian system that says, okay, everybody get the shot right now, do as I say, then that's what it is. Australia is kind of going toward that direction. Okay, Gibraltar is kind of, toying with it, mandatory lockdowns, things of that nature. So it's like, okay, let's talk about what it really means to be an authoritarian rather than just using that word as a big, scary, blunt instrument against Donald Trump because we don't like Donald Trump. Let's not play around like that. You understand what I'm saying? So what he said was right on point. So shout out to him and shout out to Yuri Bezmenov and shout out to Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin did a video about woke culture in the U.S. And I almost did a video about that, but the problem was that it's in Russian with English subs, so it's kind of hard to do with a video because a lot of you guys listen only and don't watch. So you would have to watch to read the English subs because it's all in Russian as far as the audio. But one thing he said is that this idea of newspeak, making up words to, how can I say, to express an old idea and repackage it is nothing new. Or put it to you like this. They make up new words to hide the nefarious nature of a particular thing. Prime example, did you guys see that person at ODU talking about maps? Okay, I played that last time. And by the way, they got suspended. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, MAPS means minor attracted persons. And I won't go no further than that. But the person was trying to say that, we shouldn't demonize them and they're not criminals because of their attraction. They said that. This was a person at ODU in Norfolk I went there for 1 year. I attended that school for 1 year back in like '06 to '07. Okay, Old Dominion University, right there in Norfolk, right by Peter, by the way. You got to drive by Peter if you're going through Norfolk to get to ODU. But anyway, I went there for a year back in '06 and '07, and I didn't see anything quite like that. Nothing. I saw some wokeness, but nothing like this. This is wokeness on methamphetamine. This is wokeness on Adderall, all that. This is beyond woke, and we're getting into the criminal. Now, the person did get, quote unquote, put on leave, but that's kind of just a stopgap to prevent bad PR. They need to go ahead and get sent to the penitentiary, big rocks, little rocks. To say something like that in the public is unacceptable. But again, Putin said back in the Bolshevik time, back in 1920s Russia, people did stuff like that. They would make this new speak to have you think of things that are very heinous, very dangerous, very disruptive as okay and cool and kind and new and progressive. That's what they do. Okay. So when they say stuff like pregnant people rather than pregnant women, all kind of stuff, chest feeding, stupid stuff like that. When they say things like that, it's not new. It appears to be new because you haven't heard it before, but the concept is old as time. It's been done over and over again. It's a cycle. It's like living on the hamster wheel, Groundhog Day. You understand? So yeah, the person that said that the ODU did get put on leave, but they need to get fired, and they need to have Norfolk police come put them in 9/11. If you know, you know, but I'll move on. If you like what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. I got a good meme for you guys. Hold on 1 second. I put this on the screen. This kind of encapsulates what's happening right now with the federales. You guys know I love the federales. They're my favorite people in the world. But this meme encapsulates them 100%. So this is SpongeBob at the very top. For you guys that can't see it, the top SpongeBob is like really nice and cute and cuddly, right? And this is the FBI when they get tipped about a mass shooter. It's all kind and friendly. They wouldn't harm a fly. Then they get a little bit more aggressive, but not quite. And it says the FBI when multiple U.S. gymnasts tell them they're being sexually assaulted, they get a little bit more masculine. Then they got the shirt off. They got the angry face. When the FBI are told about a garage pull cord that resembles a noose, they get a little bit more active at that point, but then they get to the full maximum power, 9,000 power, eyes glowing when the FBI, when the mom yells at a school board, right? Don't be a mom at a school board yelling. They use the Patriot Act against them. Remember, I covered that, matter of fact. And I said the federales going after the school, the parents at school. They did that. It was just a story like they were going to do it, or they were talking about doing it, or it was a letter that was sent. But they did that. They were tracking parents with Patriot Act tools who went to school board meetings because they were concerned about their kids learning some really graphic stuff at school. So you got moms, regular normie moms and dads, okay, peanut butter jelly sandwiches, packing the book bag, putting a little kiss on their folder before they go to moms and dads being trapped by the federales because they're upset at a school board meeting. Now, you could bring crack, fentanyl, heroin across the southern border illegally all day long with nobody stopping you. You could have a ship dock in Los Angeles, in Long Beach, with 1,000 pounds of fentanyl, and it's no problem. But you want to go to a school board meeting and express your grievances. Now you're threatening teachers, and you are a domestic terrorist. They actually did track people based on that. If I can find an article, I'll link to it right quick. But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about when I say the government has gotten too big. It's gotten way, way, way too big. And too politically motivated. It's not even about just trying to, find a person that may have done a thing that's wrong. It's all about just trying to fulfill particular political narratives. Matter of fact, hold on. Parents chat, Patriot Act. Let's see if I can find it. Of course, it won't be on the Googles. Okay, here it is. And matter of fact, there was a hearing about this where you had Attorney General Merrick Garland say, "Oh no, we're not doing that." Blah blah blah. He said that, but he was lying, apparently, allegedly. So here's the article in New York Post, pardon me. It says proof that AG Garland misled Congress about silencing parents who dissent. And you know the thing about the federales coming against parents is uses an intimidation method. If you get the feds at your door, they got the black suits on, they got the earpiece, they on your door. And they say, "Hey, Miss Robinson, you talking about your teachers at school, the school board, and you were upset. You got kind of irate. I saw a video on Facebook of you talking crazy. Well, let's come inside and talk for a minute about that." When you have that happen, they're going to be intimidated, so they're going to be less likely to express their grievance. That's the whole point behind it. Okay. So there's an article right here talking about it. It's not just me making it up. And again, this is the problem with government. It's weird how people that are on the left love the government so much. They talk about institutional racism, all this, that, and the third, but they rely upon the very same government, the very same so-called racist government to do things when they want them to do things, to be their attack dogs when they want them to be. It's so weird, but not unexpected at all. Not in the least bit. So, hold on. Atomic Tabasco said ABL spoke to a nephew who drives trucks. He said not shortage of drivers, it's California restrictions hurting supply chain. Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it at all. That makes sense. I mean, at a certain point, people, they do things. Governments do things that serve their best interests, but not those of the common man. You see, they don't think about how this is going to actually impact real world on the ground. They do things from an ivory tower in the sky, not caring about how it's going to affect people. And at a certain point, is that efficient government? Shouldn't they do things that are going to help us? It's like, okay, if you have a really busy road, right? The road is always busy. It's always ridiculous traffic backups. And they can't expand it. They can't do things to improve it, but they don't. They do other things that don't help, like add a bike lane. Oh, this is really great for the environment, really progressive. But meanwhile, the road is always busy. It's blocked up. Okay. And the bike lane is poorly designed. So if a person is on the bike lane, I got to pretty much stop my truck or try to like get around them on the busy lane, and I can't do it. I saw that today. Matter of fact, it's this real narrow road I was on, and it was a guy with a bike. It's like, sir, I need you to take that somewhere else, man. Take that to the park and ride around and have fun that way. You are on a busy road that's narrow. I'm driving this Toyota Tundra. One clip from my side view mirror, you're going to be in that ditch upside down. So go over there with that. It was crazy. And I got around him eventually. It was over breaking the traffic. I got around him. But when I got past him, the next guy was stuck right behind him. It's like, man, people don't think about others. And when you're in government, if you are elected, that's your job, think about others. Your job is not to think about things that are going to help you and your money. It's about serving your community, serving your constituents, not about serving yourself. It's a selfless thing, or it should be. But nowadays, it's all about just trying to get money, trying to get kickbacks from Pfizer, Moderna, et cetera, et cetera. That's what it's about. So I don't care if somebody has myocarditis or whatever. So what? I got my money. You got to do what you got to do to get your money. If you die, oh well. That's the attitude that I see from the federales and from a big part of the government, on the left especially, but sometimes on the other side as well. All right. So let's get to a few more here. Hold on one second. Let me see. Did I get everything I wanted to get to? PBS, Kamala Harris. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to get to right there. All right. Okay. I'm gonna do this. All right. The person right there just getting on my nerves. I don't got time. I don't have time. Let's continue here. Yeah, are they still fighting vax mandate? Well, I think Australia's still dealing with the vax mandates for sure. They are expanding the vax they are dealing with the vax mandates down there. But in the U.S., depending upon where you live, is all good. I'm in Tennessee, it's totally fine. There's no mandates, there's no mass, and it's fine. It's not this big outbreak. People need to just look at what's going on around them and stop relying on what the media is telling them. They'll say anything, and what they say is usually untrue. Oh, here's some good pictures I want to show you guys. Have you guys seen this? Here's a picture from the so-called protests out there. Do you see this? So in case you can't see it, it says August 25th, 2020, selfless heroes. And it has, what's his name? Anthony Huber. Is that his name? Anthony Huber. Joseph Rosenbaum, the child predator, and Gage Grosskreutz. The guy got shot in his bicep and had it explode all over the place, looking like a burnt chicken wing after Thanksgiving dinner. They have them dressed as like superheroes, like Superman in the Superman outfit. Why? How are they heroes? Heroes for doing what? Heroes for touching kids? Heroes for attacking a 17-year-old, running after him with a gun? Why? These people are insane. And you know what? The crazy thing is, when you ask a regular person that's invested into the case and they think that Rittenhouse should go to jail, when you ask them, hey, do you know who he shot? Why he shot him? Nope. Black Lives Matter. That's all I know. That's all I really care about. This is media derangement syndrome. The media has brainwashed them so much that they can't even get out of it. If you try to talk to her, you will have no success. Zero success. Okay? None whatsoever. That's where we are nowadays. Yeah, it is amazing, but I can't really say I'm too surprised. I'm not surprised at all, because that's what you're going to get from a lot of these people. That's kind of what it is. All right, and let's see what else is I wanted to show. I think that's pretty much what it was. But yeah, there's a whole lot going on there. Oh, and shout out to you guys that are going to come to the event. I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona. Well, actually Gilbert, Arizona, which is right by Phoenix. I'll be there next Tuesday. Pardon me, on 2 weeks from now. So that'll be Tuesday the 30th of November. That's going to be an event for Brandon Tatum's book release party. I'll be there. I think Jericho Green's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of guys and girls there. I think VIP is already sold out, but I think there's still some left in general admission. So go to my Instagram page. Matter of fact, go to my Instagram page, Instagram.com/Anthony B. Logan. And I have a link tree that's right here. Check it out. I got my link tree right there. So once you go right there, I got a speaking engagement coming up, my channel, whatever you want. It's all right there. Instagram.com/Anthony B. Logan. Check it out. And I will see you in Arizona. If you're going to be there, if you can make it, that'd be fantastic. All right. So I got super chats on deck. I'm going to read those right quick. Young Mills, how can you send me a shirt? I have a P.O. box. That's on my website as well. AnthonyBLogan.com. Go to the contact pages right there. So yeah, you can send me whatever you want to send me to the P.O. box. It's fine, because at the box, they'll put it in the back little area. So it's not like it has to fit into the actual box itself. You understand what I'm saying? All right. So let's get to some supers, and then we get to the calls in a little bit. And again, the number to call is 434-658-1220. I'll get to that in just a moment. Y'all hang tight. We shall go ahead and get her done. I got a few from Apu right here. Apu says, FBI whistleblower exposes Attorney General Garland, war on parents. Also says, FBI agents tell the truth, expose Democrats corrupt. Q Shaman gets 3 years in the penitentiary for walking the Capitol. That whole thing was so dumb. I mean, 3 years for doing that. My question is, what did the so-called the QAnon shaman, remember that guy with the shirt off and the bullhorns? Not bullhorns, pardon me, the bullhorns. Why did he get 3 years in the joint? If not for just political purposes, what's the reason why he got 3 years in the penitentiary? For doing what? Did he attack anybody? Did he hurt anybody? Did he steal anything? What did he do? For walking in the Capitol? I mean, how was that even a crime, really? So I just don't really understand. What did he do for 3 years in the joint? You got guys that actually kill people that don't get any time in the joint, or they get like a slap on the wrist. You know, one thing I always hear people say is, oh, if a black person did it, they would get more time. Please. Black folks get slaps on the wrist every single day for violent crime. Every single day for violent crime. This QAnon shaman dude walked in the Capitol and got 3 years in the joint. I mean, it's beyond my understanding. It's like the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing. That the jury should not be deliberating this long. What's the holdup? Open and shut case. He was being chased, got shot, or didn't get shot. He shot them when they were trying to shoot him, when they were trying to attack him. So how was it anything else other than self-defense? And the judge said, from what I hear, and if I'm wrong, let me know. But the judge said that if it's self-defense and you are able to rule on that, it's over. So what are we really doing? What is the purpose other than a political kind of like witch hunt? That's all that it is, nothing else to it. If anybody could just look at the evidence and see what happened and see what he did or didn't do, you can only explain the 3 years in the joint. You can only explain this extended deliberation process in the Kyle Rittenhouse case as politically motivated, as motivated by the media and false information, period. I mean, what's going to happen when you see this guy on documentaries and talking about how bad he was and menacing music? This is trial by media, period. Also, Apu says, DOJ corrupt DC judges are pure evil, travesty of justice. That's correct. Thank you to Chevy, who says Rittenhouse is a natural warrior all day. Shout out to my man, Kyle Rittenhouse. All right. And we got a few more here. Hold on. Apu says, God bless January 6th, MAGA patriots in DC jails. Vindication. Right on. Also, God bless James O'Keefe, victim of FBI DOJ corruption. Absolutely. And Michael Guest says, hey, Tubin, I can't read that one, Michael Guest. Come on, man. Thank you for that, though. And shout out to Apple, who says, report brick pilots in Kenosha Soros fund riots. Zachary DeBoe says, it's all a setup just like the kids who got the wrong amount of the dosages. Yeah, that was crazy. 112 kids got the wrong dose. Like, and it wasn't a mistake because it did that on purpose. It did not have any more of the kids' doses. So they said, oh, well, the kids' doses ain't nothing but 1/3 of the adult dose. So let's give them that. Let's just take the adult dose and bust it down by 3. It'd be the same thing, although it was not. There were certain ingredients that were missing. I heard, allegedly, rumor has it, there was an ingredient in the kids' doses of the vax that prevented heart attacks because they know that they had myocarditis issues in some of the young men who got the shot. So put that ingredient in there to prevent your heart from flaming up. They didn't do that. All they did was just give roughly 1/3 of the adult dose for each kid. So some kids got overdosed, some underdosed. A whole big mess. All because they didn't want to just be honest and say we don't have any more of the kids' doses. I mean, they could have waited. They waited this long. Why not wait a few more days or go somewhere else? So if that happened at that pharmacy, what's going on elsewhere? Pure negligence. Apple also says, Texas, Malik Austin says he's got 1,000 militants locked and loaded. NFAC, LOL. ABL, do you take this guy seriously? I believe Austin should be arrested. Those are the same guys that shot themselves. I think it was 2 separate incidences of people in that group shooting themselves. So I'm not really sure how well they're actually prepared. Matter of fact, it was one time where they went to Stone Mountain. I remember this. I covered this story, matter of fact. So the NFAC group, the Not Effing Around Coalition, I remember them, the all black armed group. They went to Georgia, Stone Mountain, because there's a Confederate engraving on on the mountain, right? So they went there, I guess, trying to confront some racist white guys that never showed up, but they had on all black. Now, mind you, it's summertime. It's very hot. This is in Atlanta, Georgia. Hot Atlanta. It's very hot down there, extremely hot. You're in the South. All black, long sleeves. So you had guys passing out. And the funniest thing was seeing the white guys come to their rescue and give them water and stuff like that. So I don't really take them seriously. Not really. They may be dangerous, but not necessarily in an organized way. Also, Apu says, AB, I love you spoke Japanese on a live stream. And I love your Nigerian Prince imitation. Comedy, what other accents can you do? Scottish? I don't know. I have some that might just come out randomly. But yeah, I do quite a few accents. Let me see. Apu says, ABL funny stories from working at Old Country Buffet. Oh, I got a lot of stories. The story I always tell, I've said it here before, but my story I always tell is we had these big, giant transgenders. Before this whole transgender wave was a wave, it was these two big dudes that would come in there and eat at Old Country. I mean, I'm 6'3", right? I'm not necessarily a short guy. These dudes were humongous. I'm talking about when they come into the restaurant, you gotta look to the sky. It looked like Shaquille O'Neal, literally 7 foot tall, both of them. Shaquille O'Neal, but with breast augmentation. It was, I'm like, what in the world's going on here? Okay. If you see something like that, that's scary as a horror movie clown. Frightening. If a little kid saw that, you start crying instantly. It was ridiculous, man. I thought I was a joke. I thought I was being pranked, but nah, these guys were humongous. I never seen that. I never seen that again or since, and I don't want to see it again at all. But I would see everybody in there, all walks of life. You would see guys. It was one guy in there who I would see all the time coming to the bar. He looked totally homeless, like he might be on drugs, but he'd be in there every day at night. And he won't talk to nobody, be by himself all the time. He never talk. But I'd talk to him occasionally, like, hey, man, what's going on? How's everything going? And when he would talk, he was brilliant. Well, I'm here today getting a little bit of food, having a great time. How about yourself? Like, the way he looked was not how he spoke. And I talked to my coworker, and she was like, yeah, he owns a bunch of hotels and whatnot in Suffolk. He's like a multimillionaire. You would never know it by looking at him. So at that point, I learned these guys got a bunch of money. They don't floss. They don't show it. They might be kind of eccentric, but they got money. They know what they're doing. They're not trying to, show you everything they got. 666 King Drummer says, I'm double vaxed, but I'm not getting any boosters. I didn't want to, but I had to so I could go on a cruise in September. I warned people this vax thing would never end, but no one wanted to listen. Exactly. It'll never end. It'll never, ever, ever end. It's going to be ongoing forever until they just stop it, which I'm not really sure when they're going to stop or why they would stop, why Pfizer would stop. They keep bringing the money in, big bags of money all day long. Thank you to Live, Love, Life for the donation. Thank you to Ohio Gaming says Live, Love, Life. I'm tripping. Player Sigma Zeta says, hey, ABL, in your opinion, who is more dangerous to America, establishment Democrats or progressives? Same thing. Honestly, same thing, because they vote all the time together. One may think that they're different, but they aren't, because they do the exact same thing. So I don't see, one may think that Bernie Sanders and AOC are like night and day from just a regular normie Democrat. But when they vote the same way, it's no difference, right? National Party Cat says, RIP Young Dolph. He liked Trump, even made a song about him called Sunshine. Yeah, shout out to Dolph. Very sad. 666 King Drummer says, BLM are control opposition. Their involvement in this case is proof. Yeah, exactly. 100%. They got activated. They got paid a big bag of money to go out there and do that. That's what it is. Very good point. Fauna Face says, RIP Young Dolph. Do you see where they're trying to be sensitive to pets? Guys that be touching and normalize that behavior? Just sick. And LeBron, just be quiet and dribble. Yeah, I saw that at ODU, the one person that was trying to do that, and I've seen it a lot of other places trying to normalize it. That's the end game to this whole LGBTQ elemental P thing. You got the regular normie gays that ain't really trying to do that, but you got the people that are pushing the political stuff that want to go all the way. It won't just be, let's stop at gay marriage, let's stop at trans stuff, let's go to the schools, and you're going to have really sexualized stuff that's LGBT, trans, and whatnot in school. So they're trying to groom these kids. It's very obvious what's happening. Like the Catholic Church, you got a lot of the people that abusing kids who have invaded the church to have access to the kids. It's the same thing with the school. You having these people that want to do things they shouldn't be doing, going to the school. We're seeing the rise of that happening, and we're seeing a lot of the LGBT in school. Why do you have a cross-dressing man in school teaching kids? How was they even permitted? Now, I ain't talking about trans. That's worse, trans. I'm talking about a cross-dressing man, a mustache and everything, looking like Robin Williams with a dress on, Miss Doubtfire. Why is that happening in school with little kids? Confusing. You're grooming the kids. You shouldn't be doing that. But the door is open, so they walk them right on in. That's what's happening right now in school. Thank you to San Diego Varsity Sports, who says rap music causes more harm than Robert E. Lee statue, unquote. Wynton Marsalis, great jazz musician. I mean, I kind of agree with that, but I kind of don't. I'm kind of like torn on that issue. I've heard that argument a lot about rap music being dangerous to people. But the thing is, rap music is not even primarily consumed by these young black kids or young, quote unquote, inner city kids. It's mostly consumed by kids in the suburbs, a lot of white kids and a lot of black suburban kids. The problem is that there's pressure on them in their home and society in their neighborhood that makes them kind of go along with the music, that makes them identify with the music. But if you don't have that pressure on you to do that, then you won't have that same problem. In my opinion, it's all about just the environment that you live in, the environment that's around you, that'll kind of make you go one way or the other. If you choose to buy into it, that's what's going to happen. Shreep says, just wow, free little man Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah, free my man Kyle, 100%. And take it to Caius Posthumous Ternius, who says, ABL, what do you think about the two hung jurors? So is that being confirmed? There's two hung jurors? Is that what's going on right now? I mean, I kind of saw it coming, quite frankly, because the problem is that this case has already been in the media a lot. They've already lied about it, and people already have they got their mind made up. Before the process even happened, their mind's already been made up. So I'm not surprised. Unfortunately, it should be open and shut, but it's not because of the media being involved with it from the very beginning. And people like Joe Biden talking about white supremacy, all this and that, and the third, without knowing the facts, without having the evidence in front of him, he opined on it in a very irresponsible way. Tim Wesley says, hey, ABL, hope all is well. I just read that the U.S. court suspended OSHA and Sleepy Joe's poke mandate. What's your intake on that? Do you think it's going to be a wrap, or are they going to keep trying to push this mandate? Very good question. I did see that. So, yeah, they suspended the enforcement of the mandate because of the recent court case. I think it's going to be a lengthy case. It's going to play out over a while, which is why I don't think anybody that is, in the crosshairs of this should quit their job ahead of time. Make them fire you. Make them fire you and do it that way, because you might be able to stay on. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, if you don't want to get the vax, you can't get an exemption, or you don't want to do that route for some reason, the exemption route, just stay until they fire you, because they might not be able to fire you when it comes time. I think, in the military, I think it's like the deadline's like December the 15th for some guys. And then I think for National Guard, it's like next year, I believe in March. Don't quote me on that though. But in the military, I can't really say the same thing because I'm not sure how that whole process works. So in the military, here's a question for you guys that may know. In the military, if you don't get the vax, is there a dishonorable discharge? How does that actually work? Because you might want to, get an honorable discharge versus getting a dishonorable one. because that's bad if you get a dishonorable. It's like having a felony, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not sure how that whole process works. But for civilians, I would say go ahead and get fired or stay on until they fire you. They may say, we're going to suspend you without pay, but still do that and go work somewhere else in the meantime. And if you want your job, just stay on, because they probably can't enforce this whole mandate thing. That's my opinion. But I mean, I don't know all the details of what the military has to go through. So we'll see. Yeah, don't quit. Because they might not be able to enforce that on you, because OSHA's not going to be able to do it, at least not right now. All right. Thank you to Michael Guest, who says, no matter the outcome of the Rittenhouse trial, the state of Wisconsin is screwed and refused to protect its citizens. Thank you to Marie Stark for the donation. Thank you to 666 King Drummer, who says this administration is literally S's and giggles. 3 guesses as to who is who. Thank you to Tina for being a member, 10 months. Thank you for that. Who says, keep up the excellent work, ABL will do. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Ohio Gaming for the donation. Thank you to Bob K. MIT, who says, the ODU teacher story was not even covered by local news. Wow. Crazy. Right there in the heart of Norfolk, right? ODU. They didn't cover it. That's crazy. Wavy, WVEC, they didn't cover it. Quote, when they control the information, they can bend it all they want. And, there was a protest today at ODU. I saw it. There was a protest. The person got put on leave. It was a whole big story. It blew up all over the place. But they didn't even cover it locally. All the time, I do stories and I see comments. My first time hearing about it, I live right down the street from that. I live across the street from that place. This is my first time hearing about it right here on your show. I hear that all the time. It's crazy. Thank you to Ty Romas, a conservative, who says, BLM is a political weapon. Don't care about no one. Exactly. Thank you to Apu again, who says, breaking news, rapper Young Dolph killed in Memphis. I saw that. Both versus Windshield says, once conservatives get Congress, let's censor Pelosi, Waters, Booker, Castro, Tester, Omar, Tlaib, Bush. If we don't push back, it'll get worse. Of course, yes. We can't just, sit back and do nothing, for sure. Thank you to Angel, who says, hey, ABL, great informative show. Good work. You the man. Thank you for that. Thank you to Leo, who says, if the guy speaking for critical race theory was complaining about oppression, how did he get the right to speak and have to say? Exactly. How are you oppressed if you right here tell me all this stuff? It's like the whole thing about authoritarianism and Donald Trump. They call him an authoritarian, but it's like, you're not in the gulag right now making big rocks into little rocks. So how is it authoritarian? How is it authoritarian when the government are not on his side, when there's not one unified party on him, helping them get through everything day to day? Thank you for the tea. Both versus Windshield says, so 3 white men burned down black businesses owned in Kenosha. 1 white kid put out fires and protected said businesses. Who's the racist? Exactly. That's a crazy thing in the world. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm Black Lives Matter and I'm 100% white. I'm here to help you, black man. You know what I'm going to do to help you? I'm going to burn your black neighborhood down. I'm going to destroy your infrastructure. I'm going to make life harder for you. Job you work at, the Dollar Tree, whatever. I'm gonna burn your job. I'm gonna burn your job down, burn your house down, destroy your infrastructure, and I'm gonna bring a bunch of crackheads from all over the country to your neighborhood, and we're gonna be here for like 6 months. But hey, Black Lives Matter, and the person that comes to try and run us off and get us out is the racist. So you go out there, out of your burned up house, out of your torn up roads. You go out there and protest him. Tell him to leave because he's here to help neighborhood get better. And we can't have the neighborhood get better because that's against the whole thing. That's against what we're trying to do right here. If Black Lives Matter, then it means we got to destroy your neighborhood. That's what's going on. Sergio says, you the man, truck drivers are with you. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Both versus Windshield says, my papa told me a long time ago, quote, treat each person as an individual because it's what they are. There you go. Sergio says, what's the aftermath of Kyle gets acquitted? If he gets acquitted, there may be some unrest, quote unquote unrest, some rioting, but I hope not. I think the guards are already down there. They're kind of prepared. But if they let it get out of control, it will. So I hope they contain it and don't let it get out of control. Because if they don't, it's going to be a problem. Shout out to Dung is Fun, who says the reason they're spending the jab mandate so that the supply chain doesn't affect the holidays. Think about it. Yeah, that's a good point. Computing Support LLC says, I'm a disabled vet. Military will charge for general. Oh, the military will discharge for general. Dungus Fun says, if you go with a religious exemption and they fire you, you can sue them. 100%, yeah. You know, at this point, you got to kind of play the game to win. It should be, you shouldn't have to be doing this at all. You should not be faced with this option to have to do religious exemption and stuff like that and stay on. And this shouldn't be our reality, but here we are. So you just got to do the best way you can. All right, we got calls on deck, of course. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. If you enjoyed the show so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. But let's get into it here, shall we? Okay. Open up Skype. If it doesn't work right, you know, it's not my fault. Don't blame me. Blame the white man for Skype not working right if it doesn't work right. So let's get to it. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's go. 559, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 559, hello. Hold on one second. It's probably me. All right. See, I'm screaming on him, but really it's my fault. Hold on one second. And let's do it this way. All right, 559, you're on the line.
Hey, Bill, how's it going?
How's all good about yourself?
Good. Hey, you know, I just had 3 quick questions for you. And I'm calling from California, by the way. And one was, what do you think about the judge postponing the verdict this evening and then postponing it till tomorrow morning? And then just kind of what you were talking about, but going over it, I guess, again, some more is with the National Guard being deployed, do you think that you'll see more violence like how we did last year with the BLM doing like drive-bys and stuff like that on the National Guard and just like, you know, causing all kinds of chaos, especially since they promised that there's going to be like blood spilled and like all this crazy stuff that they were kind of just like saying the last, you know, few days. And then especially since like, I guess there's already violence in front of the courthouse already today where a couple people had a fight like right in front of the doors. A guy got body slammed. So, I mean, it seems like violence is already pretty much like upticking already as we, you know, are moving into the verdict. So I just was kind of wanting your thoughts on all that.
Good question. Good questions, actually. Now, as far as the verdict, what did the judge say? I mean, is there a verdict already? Have they reached a verdict already? And they want to delay announcing it until the morning, or are they still deliberating?
See, that's where I'm kind of confused because there's all this information coming in on that there's like a hung jury, but then they're going to make an announcement tomorrow morning. But it's, you know, it's so super confusing because I guess, you know, nobody can talk about it. But I guess I'm kind of in the same boat as you where I don't know, you know, exactly what that they're going to be releasing tomorrow as far as I guess the sentencing, but I'm not 100% sure on that myself.
Okay, so I think what's going to happen, it could be one or two things. Obviously, it could be one, they say Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty, and they want to delay it because they don't want to have a riot spark right now at night. That could be it. Or they could say mistrial, hung jury or something like that, because you have jurors that don't want to comply. And if they say hung jury, that could also spark a riot because that's not good enough. They want to have a guilty verdict. So it could be either one. I'm not really sure, though.
Right. And do you think that we could possibly see like violence that we've seen last year with BLM and the National Guard and the riot police? Kind of just like, I'm sorry.
No, you good. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
It could happen, but I'm not sure. I think my theory is that Black Lives Matter, a lot of these organizations get paid to go out there and do that. So if they got paid to do that, then it's going to happen because it's what they get paid to do. You know, they probably get half of the money, and they probably won't get the rest until there's some Molotov cocktails being thrown in the air. So that could be what happens. But we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but it could.
I hope not, man. I'm praying because, I mean, that poor city and those poor folks in that town have seen enough. But you know what, ABL? I really appreciate it. God bless. Love the show and take care.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. All right, shout out to the caller. But yeah, hopefully we don't have any kind of violence, but BLM could be back in action. They could be getting paid to do this. I mean, we see them every year, election year, that is. They come out right at the perfect time and they disrupt things because it's a political narrative they're trying to push. That's all. If they don't get their way, they want to bully you into getting their way by violence, by way of violence. All right. Call you on the line, speaking to 773.
ABL, so glad I got through. This is your Chicago police officer friend.
All righty. What's going on?
Yeah, I tried to get in last week and I couldn't, so I have a few topics to talk to you about. Here in Chicago last week, a University of Chicago graduate student was shot and killed for his cell phone. The offender got away. The guy died. Through the police work and following plate reading cameras and other cameras in the area, they were able to track him down a few days later. He was caught with 2 guns in his possession, one of them which is the murder weapon, and the key fob to the car that he had carjacked earlier that day. This kid is 18 years old, and here's his charges, previous charges from other things that he was let go on. Aggravated battery, that's where you either, it could be aggravated battery with your hands or aggravated battery with a knife or a gun. Aggravated battery with a gun means you shot somebody, but they didn't die. So he had aggravated battery, aggravated fleeing from the police, armed robbery, violation of probation, aggravated vehicular hijacking, and he was still on the streets until now, which his bail was now denied because he actually did kill somebody. And, it's a heater case, meaning it's in the news all the time. I mean, it's a big story in the news, so they denied his bail. But this is what's happening. They keep letting people go. I stopped taking it personally myself. I arrest the same people over and over. I told you I'm near the end of my career, and 2 young guys that had like 2 years on a job, they arrested a guy, a career criminal. I thought I knew him. He looked familiar to me. Well, when you run somebody's rap sheet, I looked through his rap sheet. I arrested him for the same offense 19 years ago.
Wow.
19 years ago, he's still out there doing his thing. So that's what you have in policing nowadays. Unbelievable. No consequence whatsoever for crimes. If you lock the people up, they would know you're serious and they would be afraid. You wouldn't know what crimes you're preventing. I mean, that's the whole thing. You're preventing crimes from happening. But once you open the floodgates come through. So, but I had a couple other things to tell you about. You were talking about, there's a lot of people in the, police department that were former military people. In the military as of 2017, a lot of transgenders or people who want to be transgender have been signing up for the military because there's a rule if you already started the process, and that may just be taking hormones, simple as that. If you started that process and you go into the military pays for that. Well, many transgenders have gone into the military because of that. Our tax dollars are footing the bill, for them to have an operation that they couldn't afford on their own. And that's happening with that too.
Exactly. I've seen that a lot. Yeah, they get a free sex change on the taxpayer's dime.
On the taxpayer's dime. though there's a huge recovery from that and everything else. So you're not exactly on the front lines, being sent on the front lines after a sex change operation. And they'll take their chance of maybe having to do something for the military. But most of them, it's just like the police department. There's a lot of people that go into the police department wanting to be in the office, secretaries, because there's all those jobs there. You might have to take a chance to be on the streets for a little while, but you get inside, you're nothing but a secretary with a gun. And it's the same thing in the military.
That's right.
I mean, it's unbelievable what's happening. There were a couple other points I don't want to take about all your time, of course, but you're a hard man to get through. There's a lot of people that love hearing you, including me. So I guess I'll let you go, ABL.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like a lot of the same people get arrested over and over again, because there's no penalty for what they do. They could just do it over. They don't really care about the consequences. Why care about it? I won't get arrested. If I do get arrested, I'm going to go home right away. So why care? All right, let's go 790. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, this is Roman from Russia again. As I see, many Americans lost their faith in FBI as an institution, and I can understand why. But I want to tell that there is still hope and still got good agents. I want to ask you, does name Igor Danchenko sounds familiar to you?
Not really.
So remember whole Trump-Russia collusion story?
Yeah.
So Igor Danchenko is the guy who made false statements that fueled this whole collusion hoax. And 1 week ago, he was arrested by FBI for those false claims. The only thing why he was arrested is because John Durham is a leading special group of agents who investigate origins of Russian hoax. And John Durham was appointed during Trump presidency by Bill Barr. And he is still active today under Biden administration. And the reason for that, because the only good thing Bill Barr did is give John Durham group a special counsel status in October last year. So Biden administration has no authority to dismiss this special group. And this group is still active today. The point here is that everyone needs to pay attention about Igor Danchenko, because this guy, he can talk and may bring a lot of information. But I'm pretty sure this guy is a dead man walking, because if he failed to secure some deal with Feds, then we might see he got Epstein himself, if you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Because this is a very important guy. It's like he's not like Epstein, but very close. Because if he talk, he may lead to very serious people. And now he is in custody by the group who was appointed by the Trump during Trump administration. So there are still good agents in the FBI. Also, I want to ask about another topic. I saw there is police activity channel on YouTube, and just in a few weeks, they released videos their unarmed black folks was killed, or Hispanic homeless man was killed by police and stuff like that. But I did not see any riots. I did not see any noise on Twitter or Facebook, and media is silent. Any ideas why is that?
Well, the thing is, it only matters when the case goes to the media and they make a big deal out of it. If it doesn't go to the media, there's no big deal made, there's no social media kind of traction, then nobody would really care.
But my point is, media and big tech is manipulating trends massively. And if Trump was still in office, those incidents and those stories will be all over the news, all over the trends. And the most obvious proof of media manipulation is YouTube removing dislike buttons to cover the face of Biden administration. It's like so obvious.
Oh yeah, very, very obvious, very clear.
Yeah. So, and this is why I also want to talk about I don't want to bring you into trouble if we talk about election, like last elections. I just want to say, like, when conservatives and liberals talk about that topic, many conservatives start to talking about, like, thinking what happened in Arizona or Georgia or stuff like that. And I think this is a mistake, because you conservatives, like people who like Trump, do not need to, like, prove anything. If you any like woke liberal or anybody starts asking questions, you just point out, like, last 4 years, media and everybody was talking about Russians, like, we steal elections. Like, it was for 4 years, like, and now they expect that everybody need to believe that to like last elections was most secure one. Like, this is hilarious.
Right, exactly. That's what I say, because it was a whole narrative. Russia collusion. Russia stole it. That was a narrative. I mean, Hillary Clinton said it. Everybody said it on the left. But then when there's one question said about this election, all of a sudden we're all conspiracy theorists, and it's crazy how they change the narrative when it fits them.
Yeah, and ordinary liberals, they tend to forget so quickly. But again, I want to point out about Igor Danchenko, and people need to pay attention, because if this guy dies, like he Epstein himself, we might lose a very important witness who can testify against, who knows, Mike, maybe Hillary, maybe even anybody else in the Democratic Party. We don't know yet, but we need to pay attention to this guy.
Oh, yeah. Right on.
Yeah, this is all. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to listen to you. Okay, have a good time.
Thank you for the call. All right, great call from my man from Russia. All righty, Les, what's happening?
Hey, ABL, how are you?
I'm well, can't complain.
Oh my God, that's good to hear. I got the little ones over here. We got to back you up when you said that in the beginning, that you have your policies, no cursing. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, no problem. It's all good.
Because at least the little ones are able to enjoy you.
That's right.
I actually wanted to touch on something real quick with the BLM protesters that are outside, waiting to pretty much, release all doomsday, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard of it. Well, I did see that you did put that where the individuals are holding up like selfless heroes. And it's very interesting how they call, these individuals, at least one of them by the name of Joseph Rosenbaum. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. He's actually a convicted child rapist. Sorry, I'm over here trying to read this.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to ignore that really important part about what he did, and and he was a serial. He did that a lot. He wasn't just one time. He did that a lot. He preyed on people, and and their women and their kids. He would prey on people. So I don't see how that guy would be a selfless hero at all.
Correct. And FYI, his victims were ranging from ages 9 through 12. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting how, certain individuals in today's society, choose to stand on that side of the spectrum. It blows my mind, to be honest with you. It's crazy.
It really is.
I also wanted to cover one thing here. I don't know if you heard, but the Klauskis are also out there. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, I saw that. They were at the courtroom to support.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is awesome stuff. And then just one last thing, because you were covering this, and this is where I was like, oh my gosh, I got to share it with you. So Real MAGA Hulk on his Instagram posts this video along with some articles on it. There is a trans university professor by the name of, I'm getting it for you, Alan Walker. He teaches sociology and criminal justice at the Old Dominion in Virginia. So what's funny with him is, so you were trying to talk, how they're trying to normalize a lot of the, alphabet soup and things of that nature, right? Yeah. Which is all, politic propaganda at the end of the day. So what he's saying is that pedophiles shouldn't be looked as like as immoral. Like it's actually like he's trying to normalize that pedophiles that individuals that desire children is actually pretty normal, and they shouldn't be labeled as pedophiles. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I saw that. I actually attended that school for 1 year. I'm from Virginia, so I went to ODU for a year back in the day, like in 06, 07, I went there. And when I was going there, I did not see all the woke stuff that's happening right now. I saw a little bit of it, but nothing like this. Nothing like this. Now, that person got put on leave, and there was a protest at ODU against that person. So I'm glad that now all the kids are brainwashed and woke like that, and they can realize that that person needs to go up under the penitentiary. Big rocks, little rocks, ASAP.
Oh yeah, of course. I think it's interesting in regards to all that because not only are they trying to normalize all this garbage with abortion and the ABC group community, but as well as now they're trying to normalize pedophiles. But how interesting that it pretty much goes hand in hand with what's going on today, and how BLM is out there advocating for that convicted pedophile in their protest out there already in Kenosha. I think it's pretty interesting stuff.
Exactly.
One last thing, ABL. I wanted to actually. Oh, I don't know if you. I don't know if you covered the video with Elon Musk. How he pretty much took a nice jab at Bernie Sanders in the tweets.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was great. That was fantastic.
I started laughing because I was like, I remember because I think this was sometime last year, 2 years ago. I don't know who posted, but I was like, it's kind of funny because I remember the tweets, how Bernie Sanders goes from, we just have to, before he became a millionaire, right? He's like, we have to tax the millionaires. And now it became tax the billionaires because he became a millionaire himself, Bernie Sanders. And now it's like, no, we just got to tax the wealthy rich. So I was like, man, you guys got to get it together. we don't even know anymore what's going on with you all.
Exactly. 100%.
Alrighty, Abel. Well, we want to wish you a wonderful night. Thank you so much for everything. And you take care. Take care. God bless you.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate y'all.
Bye. You too. Bye.
All right. Shout out to Les for the call. Great call. Shout out to the youngins, everybody watching the show. Watch the show with your mom and your dad and all them. Shout out to all the parents teaching their kids early about the reality of what's happening around them. You got to do it at an early age. Don't wait until they get to be a blue-haired SJW getting shot in the arm at a BLM rally. All right, Tariq, what's going on?
Hey, yo, what's up, man? It is crazy that the jury still hasn't deliberated on this case. And what's sad is that it's all political, man. It's all political pressure. And the reason why the media is putting on this pressure, so much pressure on this case, is because they know Kyle Rittenhouse is not guilty. But what they're trying to do is pretty much, when you got violence threatened, when you got riots being threatened, what that does is that plays into the jury's emotions. Whereas, let's say if I do see him as not guilty, am I going to be responsible for more violence? And then I believe there was a case where someone got caught taking photos of the jury. I mean, here's what conservatives need to start doing, especially the one in Congress, man. They got to start coming out hard on this stuff, like threatening jail time, like, calling for a more increased security, but to just sit quiet and then just watch the left take the wheels of the story. This is what angers me, because it's really liberals is taking the wheels of the story. Like this is an open shut case. The guy is not guilty, and sadly, it seems like a lot of people are finally finding out that the victims were not black. Like, and the media kind of, what the white liberal does to the black person is that they like to call their enemies white supremacists, even though this is a political war. This all it is. But what they do is that they like to call their enemies white supremacists because they know our people latches on to that word. Like, for some reason, it's like that word is powerful. And whoever they call white supremacists, then they must be white supremacists, so that they can get black people on the side. So we can, for all of our emotional trauma, all of our emotional weight on the case, just to make Kyle Rittenhouse look more guilty. And what's crazy about this is, let's say Kyle Rittenhouse, sadly, he shot up 4 black people. And that still would have been justified to say, because I'm sorry, they weren't taking him. I mean, it doesn't even matter if it's black. Why does that automatically make it a white supremacy case? These people do these bad faith arguments for a reason because they know they don't have their stuff together. But then you got people now. Here's what conservatives do. This is why we're not unified. You know, you're gonna have Chris Christie goes on The View and he starts bashing Trump. I'm like, dude, like you were just supporting Donald Trump. You go on The View and you say things like Trump is responsible for January 6th, which no, he never called for any violence. But you see, this is the Republican Party. Like we got these turncoats who sit there when stuff like this is happening. When liberals is talking about this, they're still talking about Trump. It's just in a negative way, in a way that sides with the liberal narrative that we got to make sure that no MAGA movement ever happens again. And guess what? We got these Republicans on our side to agree. This is all mental manipulation against the normie who is sort of independent and the right-wing voter who's like, man, well, you know what? We probably don't need Trump. And like I said, Republicans got to get on these turncoats. Mitt Romney should be getting primaried. I'm hearing the man is not being primaried. How is this man able to vote to impeach Trump twice, talk crap about Trump the majority of the time, and no one is challenging him? Like, did we not see what happened with Tulsi Gabbard? Tulsi Gabbard did not vote to impeach Trump. She has a challenger, and a challenger got him out the way. That shows how liberals don't play. Liberals don't play, but these conservatives, we're just so lax. I don't get the right sometimes, man. And I'm saying, this is why we lose, because we're not cleaning house. Liberals don't play. Liberals are everyone that Congress knows, including AOC. You remember before AOC she was all on that. We got to hold the Democrats accountable. We got to call the ruckus. And now she's bending over, kissing Nancy Pelosi's butt. Because we liberals got her. It's like, you going to obey or you ain't getting no reelection. So I'm sorry, this is what the conservatives have to do. And sometimes we're going to even have to start tuning out Fox News, because if Fox News is propping up these rhinos and being biased towards these Trump Republicans, it's time for us to tune out Fox News, man. I mean, we got stations like yours on YouTube and other independent conservative stations that we got to listen to. But yeah, the right has got to get it together, man. Like, the heck with these liberals. They are going to live. We need to be more strong in our views. We need to be more unified, and we need to get rid of these turncoats. And that's all I got to say, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
All right, take care.
Right on. Very well said. I forgot about Mitt Romney. I forgot Mitt Romney was still in government, but he's most certainly there. And if he's not getting primaried, then it's like, well, why is that not happening? All right, let's go to the next one here. All right, 517 on the line. I'm speaking to.
Yeah, how you doing, ABL?
I'm all right. About yourself?
Hold on, I'm trying to turn this down. Okay. I'm Terry from Michigan. You got to call you every now and then?
All righty.
I was wondering, man, I just listened to you talking. Did you happen to catch Rand Paul talking to Fauci in, I don't know if it's Congress or where they were sitting?
Well, I've seen him a few times. I've seen him a few times speaking to Anthony Fauci. Yes, I have.
Well, he clammed, Fauci just clammed right up and wouldn't say nothing. But the thing I can't understand is, how come Fauci wants to take all these shots and stuff, but he admits that there was no money going from the United States to Wuhan, but he damn sure admits that he built the stupid drug that turned it into a flu, and he enhanced it so it could be transferred to people. That part he don't deny.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, he's just playing semantics. Like, at the end of the day, just get down to what happened. Like, let's not play these word games. Let's get down to what happened. But he doesn't really want to do that, because once you get down to what happened, then at that point he becomes responsible, at least in part, or his organization most certainly does. Then now you open the can of worms when you do something like that. When you admit that your people did it or were partly involved, can of worms open up right away.
Well, the part about enhancing it had a verifiable understanding. And as soon as it was exactly what happened, Fauci couldn't handle that, so he changed the wording on the international scale.
Right.
Now it don't word it the same way, so it don't fit the narrative anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how, but he does it, making it and enhancing it and making it so it can transfer. That makes him a criminal. I mean, if I did it, they'd send me to prison in a heartbeat.
Right, of course.
Did you notice that our government became a car dealership?
A car dealership? What you mean?
Yeah, they gave $8 billion to GM to build EVs.
I didn't hear what you said. You talking about GM, like bailing out GM?
No, I hear they gave GM $8 billion to invest in electric vehicles.
Wow. Yeah, I don't doubt it. And the same thing with Tesla. They give them a bunch of credits and whatnot to try and, what they say, oh, we're trying to push renewable energy. Is it that? Or are you trying to do like what Germany did? Are you trying to nationalize the car industry, but in a different kind of way? Are you trying to pick winners and losers? Like, what's going on? And they're also trying to they're trying to make it to where we have to buy their cars because they're trying to make gas unaffordable for the average person.
Well, we're kind of lucky up here where I live because we got our electric company is really, really stingy. So they won't shut electricity off unless it comes down to a national order. I mean, they're going to keep selling this electricity and gas forever because they manufacture it, they sell it. So we know we're in a good spot when it comes to having gas and electricity. But I'll tell you the other people, man, because everybody's going to have an electric car. When they shut the power plants off or their windmills quit working, you don't go nowhere. You get to walk.
Right.
They may want to invest in horses.
It's wild.
I just thought I'd give you a ring and ask you about this. If you knew that we were running another thing I wanted to ask you about. Have you ever heard about this thing the Chinese got called a tsunami bomb?
No.
Check it out. It's wild. I guess they got a bunch of them, man. They're real slow-moving objects, so they don't get tracked.
Oh, okay. You're talking about those, they call them something else. But basically it's like a missile. And they can't.
No, not a hyper missile. Okay. This is a tsunami bomb. It travels under the ocean.
Oh.
Like a submarine.
Okay.
And it'll create a 50-foot wave off the shore of any continent.
Oh, wow. So it creates a tsunami.
Yeah, it makes a tsunami.
Wow. No, I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
I found it on the internet today, man. I thought, man, when I call ABL, I got to tell him about that.
That is absolutely nuts. So any kind of city that's, vulnerable, Miami, New York, it can be wiped out instantly.
LA? All of them. Wiped right off the map. Nobody gets in trouble.
Yep.
Well, my governor up here, man, she's talking about shutting down that number 5 pipeline. We know our gas price is going to go out the roof.
Oh, yeah. It's going straight up.
Well, you take care of yourself, man. You and your missus be good. And we're out of here.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate
Have
you.
a good one.
All right, now.
Bye.
That's crazy. A tsunami bomb? Really? So they could create a tsunami? And see, my question would be, like, if they could do that, then why wouldn't they do that to like a smaller nation that they want to try to, like, let's say, for example, they wanted a piece of the Philippines. I mean, they could just do that and just clear it out that way. That very dangerous, very, very dangerous. And then how would you really prove that actually happened, that the tsunami bomb happened and it wasn't a natural event? Let's say, for example, there was already a tsunami warning for Hawaii or something like that, and then they send a tsunami bomb right at that same time when the earthquake happens. How would you know that it was that versus the earthquake? (860) you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, Stephen A. Ranger Xbox.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
It's all good.
Yeah, I got educational bout with a person on YouTube, but liberals, they know everything and they can't learn, and they can't even pick up their smartphone and type in low Earth orbit nuclear explosion to find out. Back when I was a kid, there's a hole in the ozone layer because you used hairspray or your dad leaked out R12. No, it's because they did several hundred low orbit nuclear bomb tests over the South Pole where nobody lives.
Well, yeah, that'll do it.
Look it up. You can type it in real quick. Low Earth orbit nuclear detonations. Just lots of them because nobody lives there.
Right.
But when they did it at night, they saw the flash in Hawaii and took pictures, and they're trying to figure out what it was.
Wow.
And this guy told me, "Oh no, that's not what blew a hole in the ozone layer." I go, "What do you mean?" Give me a break. But this whole Dr. Fauci thing and the Wuhan thing, when are we going to start prosecuting? But I don't think it's ever going to happen because honestly, this is my opinion. This virus was let go and planned. They deliberately put sick people in the nursing homes to drive up the death counts. I mean, they wrote executive orders preventing family members from taking their loved ones home to keep them safe. You know, you're not going to tell me this wasn't planned. One day it's all going to come out. The American public's going to stand up. I mean, enough is enough. I mean, they are punishing us right now for electing Donald Trump and tipping over their Apple Cart.
Yeah, definitely.
Hillary Clinton, if she ain't guilty of anything else, we know good and well she's guilty of mishandling 33,000 pieces of classified information as Secretary of State. If I had mishandled one piece of information as a radio teletype operator for a 3-star general in charge of 3 countries worth of nuclear missiles, I'd still be in Leavenworth.
Oh, yeah. Right away.
But we need to clean house in the DOJ, the FBI. They got to go. You are not allowed to be a Democrat or Republican when you work for the government in that capacity. You are a representative of the United States government. You're not a representative of the Democratic Party, you know, and it's insane. Obamacare. Most people, oh, yeah, it's about health insurance. No, it opened the door for the IRS to get into your medical records and your spending on medical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they changed our insurance policies to high deductible. Oh, you can have a savings account for that. But if you have to take out $6,000 to have a surgery, the IRS is going to want you to fill a form out, and they want to know all about it. That ain't about health care. It's about control.
That's right.
That's all I got, brother. I love what the other man had to say, the other brother. He was spot on. Jesse Lee Peterson talks about being raised to be emotional instead of stoic like a man's supposed to be. Be a man. Suck it up, Junebug. Toughen up, you know. But women are like, oh, let's get all emotional and you know. But no, I'm raising my son to be a boy. I'm raising my daughter to be a woman, a lady. That's it. That's all I got for you. I love your show, ABL. You really need to get a shirt with Jericho Green that says Jericho Green is my spirit animal.
Right on.
You need one for you. He could sell yours, and you both could sell Candace Owens. Maybe Brandon Tatum.
No doubt,
All
man.
right, y'all take care, okay?
Appreciate
Love
you, man.
God bless America.
All right, great call. Shout out to my man for the call. And the previous caller speaking about America now becoming a car dealership, I came across this little gem right here. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me just pop this up on the screen for a quick moment. So this is your man, Joe Biden, riding around in one of those new electric Hummers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, and he's already done this before. So it's like we have commercials now, you know, putting these HEVs out there. I mean, I love to drive it, but I'm not really trying to buy it. I got a truck already. But what I don't want is him to try and say, hey, get this car and ditch your Toyota Tundra. It's not happening, sir. Because I ain't trying to have them batteries catch on fire in my garage. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. let's get right back to it. And where we at? Give me 1 second. Let's go. All right. 714, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello.
Hello, who am I speaking to?
Hello, is this ABL?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. Hello.
Yes, who am I speaking to?
Oh, I'm calling from Anaheim.
All righty, what's going on?
This is Tony. Oh, just want to say thank you. You do a great job, and keep up the good work.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Just keep it going, man. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Good night.
All right, shout out to the caller, short and sweet. I appreciate y'all. You guys are the best audience anywhere in the world. If you enjoy what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That helps me out tremendously. And if you listen on your favorite audio streaming platform, give me a 5-star rating or review, whatever you can. I'd appreciate it. 740, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, this is Mike Gilbert from Ohio.
All righty, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. Just thought I'd call in and say, hey, really love your show. I think this Kyle Rittenhouse thing is ridiculous that they're dragging it out like this. It's open and shut case.
I got a little bit feedback in the background. I have feedback in the back. Turn the stream off in the background for me, please.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I turned the volume down there on the TV. But, yeah, I think it's an open and shut case. I don't understand why it's taken so long to make this decision. They need to just grow a pair and deal with whatever the public decides to do and arrest anybody who tries to riot.
Yeah, definitely. That's what it should be because, I mean, I think everybody knows that there could be some riots happening, and it's not. There's no justification for it. If you're out there doing the wrong thing, you need to go ahead and get arrested. The provocateurs and the planners need to go get locked up. All you're going to do is just destroy things. It's not a matter of freedom of speech either, because freedom of speech does not mean you get to burn down cities with impunity. That's not how that goes. So, yeah, they got to go right away.
Yeah. Caller, you had a couple of callers ago there that was saying about the right needs to be more organized and stuff. I couldn't agree 100% more with what he said. And I think we need to hold people accountable more too. Too many times we let stuff just get swept under the rug. It's on to the next big headline when we need to, hold these people's feet to the fire and make them, pay for the wrongdoings.
Right.
Whether it's people rioting or whether it's, crooked politicians.
Exactly.
But yeah, awesome to talk to you. I watch your show all the time and, keep on doing the thing.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's get to a few more. Let's go to, hold on 1 second here. Because for some reason, these calls, okay, there we go. 865, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 865.
Hey, my name is Brandon, actually.
All righty. What's going on?
Hey. Wow, I didn't expect to get through. That being said, love your channel, man. Absolutely love it.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
So, you know what? I would just say that I've actually seen every single moment of the Kyle Rittenhouse case. I'd like to get your opinion on the fact that the defense has actually been pretty lenient on the fact that the prosecution over the last few days has lied, actually, when it comes down to it. And I've watched live streams when it comes down to, what is actually right and what's wrong, etc. And, the defense is actually looking pretty weak in terms of they could have asked for a mistrial multiple times, and yet they don't. The judge actually serves up the idea of a mistrial for them, and yet they don't actually, bring it forth. So it just confuses me. So I'm wondering, what are your thoughts about that? About the fact that, the offense is kind of soft. They were kind of hardcore at the beginning, and now they're soft over the last few days. I just don't understand what's going on,
Well, and as far as a mistrial, the problem would be, is it just going to be a mistrial or mistrial with prejudice? Because if it's only a mistrial, that's not an accomplishment. All you're going to do is just, it's going to be, it make for another trial, but there's no purpose in doing that, because just follow through with the trial. You're not actually solving anything. It should be a mistrial with prejudice, and that's probably going to be a much higher threshold to be able to reach. I'm not quite sure they will have enough in this case as far as what the prosecution is doing for that to happen. Yeah. Because if that happens, then it's over and there's no retrial. He will be essentially found innocent, even though it wouldn't necessarily be that, but that's what the ultimate result would be. The trial will be over, no retrial, it's a wrap, it's done. So there's probably not enough for that.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was thinking. And so this evening, when they moved for a mistrial without prejudice, I couldn't understand that. That didn't make any sense. Why would you move for a mistrial without? It didn't make any sense to me whatsoever, because if that's the case, then essentially the prosecution gets a do-over, and everything that they did wrong, and there's a million things that they did wrong, they just get to be like, okay, well, we're just going to do it again, and we're going to fix the mistakes, that we did this last time. That doesn't make any sense. Why would they have at any point actually asked for a mistrial without prejudice? That doesn't make any sense to me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm not really sure why they did that, and I didn't hear that part when they did it. I wasn't watching the trial when they did that, but I don't understand why they would do that. It doesn't make a lot of sense, because at that point, you're at the end. Why would you try to do a do-over? That just help the prosecution. So I don't understand what the purpose of that would be. And really, I think the defense presented their case is pretty open and shut. The evidence speaks for itself. The only reason, quite frankly, that the jury would say anything else other than not guilty is because they're afraid. They've been intimidated. They're afraid of any kind of consequence, from their family or from friends, or they're afraid they might get doxxed and they could be in harm's way. That's the only reason, because really most jurors that I have encountered, they know what they're going to vote. They know how they're going to vote halfway through the thing or from the beginning. There's not much you can really do during a trial that's really going to convince them one way or the other after a certain period.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. And you know what? That's it's very interesting that you say that, because, at the beginning, I was watching the case simply via live stream. And then I watched it via Louder with Crowder. And I know a lot of people know Louder with Crowder. But they talk a lot and I couldn't hear it. So I went back to live stream. And then I found something called Rekieta Law. And there's a lot of people that are watching it via Rekieta Law. And basically what that is it's a bunch of lawyers watching the case, and they actually comment on it as they're watching it. And there were, I don't know how many, 3, 4, 5, 600,000 people watching it today. And, today we don't even know if we're going to get a verdict. But that being said, it's just so interesting because you get to see other lawyers watching it and commenting on it and whatnot. It was interesting because they point certain things out, such as the defense should have stood up and actually said something when the prosecution lied about certain things. And, they definitely did. You can't just simply say, oh, if you bring a gun to a certain situation, such as cleaning graffiti off of the walls, right? Or in this particular case, cleaning graffiti off the walls, or defending a business, you lose your right to self-defense. That's what they actually said. That's what the prosecution
I got you. I
said.
understand. I mean, I'm going to cut you off right here, but I got a lot more calls on the line I'm going to get to. But thank you for your call and your insight. I appreciate you.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, I see what he's saying, talking about the prosecution lying, or I won't say lying, but, well, lying sometimes. But as far as the whole thing about, well, you shouldn't bring a gun with you, that's just a matter of opinion, which it's wrong, because you have the gun to protect yourself. You may not need it, or you may need it. You can't read someone's mind and know their intention. At that point, you're trying to get into evidence that you don't have. So I'm not really sure how to actually combat that during the time that it's being said from the defense point of view, or if it's even worth trying to combat. Or they may have actually combated, they may have actually fought against that, but I didn't see it. Either way it goes, I think that the defense made their case pretty well. They had the evidence, they made their case, they objected when it was appropriate. It didn't just over-object, because I suppose you probably could object all the time. And if you did that, now the judge is going to be irritated with you, and you're going to have less leeway with the judge. The judge was on the defense's side. Or how should I say? I don't want to say that. I'm going to say that the prosecution upset the judge. Prosecution annoyed the judge, doing things you shouldn't have been doing, improper stuff, bad courtroom etiquette, just really bad. You got to play that game. You can't just do whatever you want to do when you see a thing that is not going your way, or when you just want to raise your hand and interject. You got to do things properly from my point of view. I'm no lawyer. I'm just kind of calling things how I see it. All right. 978, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, Steve Baldessari here, the American Patriot. How you doing?
It's all good. About yourself?
Doing well, man. Doing well as usual. Everyone's loving you and your show. Keep up the good work, like everyone else has been saying. Just been listening to all the callers, and just the concern of Americans and people across the world with everything that's going on. And I just wanted to make a little bit of a point here for, put things into perspective of who our founding fathers were. A lot of people will call themselves patriots, and I don't think they understand what it meant to be a patriot. So I definitely advise everyone to read the Declaration of Independence, which of course declared our independence from the tyrants in Britain. And it spells out clearly what you're supposed to do when you face tyranny. And clearly we need to declare our independence from this tyranny today. So I wanted to just quickly go over something and read excerpt from the Declaration of Independence, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, quick, please.
Okay, I'll be quick. So it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, which is we the people, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. As prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But, and this is the last part, when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object is designed to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right and it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. And it goes on, but the whole point that I was trying to make there is that don't be a bunch of crazy hotheads that just want to overthrow a government, but that's not who we are. We're a bunch of people who have long endured suffering. We've tried every other means, constitutionally, legally, lawfully, and we are the law. We are on the side of the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. So if we're talking about stopping a corrupt, tyrannical communist government, it's for a reason, because of our long suffering. So I just want to say that because I think people oftentimes will look at someone who calls for overthrowing the corrupt government as someone who's inciting violence, when really we're constitutionalists and we're on the side of the law. They're the ones who are breaking the law.
Right on, man. Thank you for calling. Definitely appreciate you.
Thanks for letting me talk, man.
No
Take care.
problem. All right. Shout out to my man for calling through. Yeah, the Obama phone was struggling, but it's all right. It is okay. You know, charge the Obama phone and we'll get it right back on track. So shout out to my man for the call. All right, Victor, what's happening?
Hey, thanks for taking the call.
No problem.
Yeah, man, that Biden and Harris, it was inevitable. Who didn't see it coming?
Yeah, it was pretty clear. It was pretty clear what was going on. But see, people got caught up on the left. They got caught up in this whole thing, the Chucks and the pearls and the first black woman, all this and that. And they forgot to realize, hey, they got to be able to get along. They got to be good coworkers, and obviously they're not.
Yeah, I mean, it was doomed. It was doomed to fail. How can you recover from calling Biden a racist in a debate? You cannot heal. You cannot mend the fences because of that. Because you're attacking his character and you're trying to ruin his career these days. Anytime you want to call a white person a racist, that's ruining a career.
Yeah.
And also how this question was brought up to Kamala Harris with Rachel Maddow, where they said, how can you work with them when you call him a racist? And she was laughing it off, saying that it was a debate. Get over it. No, you cannot get over it. Obviously, she didn't get over it because she's still calling Biden a racist.
That's right. Still the same allegations she had back then, she's having right now. So obviously it didn't go anywhere. It's still the same thing going on.
Yeah. I mean, this goes to show you that you do not look at people, color, or gender. You look at merit and you look at, okay, and when it comes to the president, vice president, see if they're going to fit. I haven't seen anything like this since Thomas Jefferson. If people don't know, Thomas Jefferson had to get another vice president for his second term because he didn't like his first vice president.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, have you heard about Joe Rogan and what he said about Colin Kaepernick?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I think I saw something he said about him, but it's been a few different clips floating around.
Yeah, basically calling Kaepernick stupid because you could show the similarities, but with the combine, what they're doing is they're seeing that, okay, is this person a good fit for the NFL because I'm going to pay you millions. On top of that, they're going to see if you're a healthy individual. There's some people that goes into this combine as well as the NBA combine, and they find out that, oh, they have a health issue that they need to resolve. And you want to try to compare that to slavery?
Right. It's the craziest thing in the world. But see, people like Colin Kaepernick probably don't really believe it. Maybe they do, but they know that it's not necessarily real, but it's all part of the game. It's all part of the grift because he was in the NFL playing quarterback. And then once that dried up, when he got benched for Blaine Gabbert and his career started to go downhill, it's like, hey, you know what? I can go over here and do this. I could be the next Malcolm X. Pick my afro out, put my turtle back in the ocean where it belongs, and I can be this pro-black activist, make a bunch of money that way. He's been doing it ever since. He still has Nike endorsement. That hasn't gone anywhere. But most guys, when they start playing, they don't have any more endorsements, but he does because he's still getting that money. It's all it's about.
Yeah, exactly. And also, if it's true, if NFL truly resemble slavery, then why don't the black players get out of the league and start their own league?
Well, so, they're not going to do that. They just enjoy. They're not going to do that because, what's the funny part? If they were to start their own league, the black folks wouldn't even really support it like that. They would still go to the majors, just like the whole thing with Ice Cube and the Big Three.
Mm-hmm.
You got black folks clowning on Ice Cube, talking about, oh, anybody going to go see that? You got a bunch of old, washed up guys, but hey, this is your league. Ice Cube, black man, black people. Okay, they didn't want to clown on it, so you can't win for losing, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Last one. You heard about Young Dolph?
Yeah, young Dolph got killed today, South Memphis. Really
Yeah.
sad. Yep.
And what's sad is that he went there to buy cookies
Yeah.
for his mom. I mean, if with FBG Duck killing in broad daylight Gold Coast, with KTS Vaughn killing in broad daylight, with him stepping out of prison, and now with this killing, also with another killing in New York where one of them was running down the op tripped over two children, but yet though the killer was killed his op point blank with the children right next to him. Fortunately, the children didn't get hurt. All those examples show you how the crime is getting worse, and people want to turn a blind eye to that, where these killers are getting bold now. And there's also another killing too. Have you heard of this rapper named Newski Gang Dewey?
No.
Okay. He's a drill rapper in Chicago. I heard he did some things, but he was very young. This was a big loss because he just got shot down. And I thought that he was going to get killed a lot sooner with one diss song that he did 2 years ago. The one person that killed him is named 800 Lil Fats, where his name has been out there a lot, and he's a huge savage. They just arrested him and another one of his affiliates for attacking an ATM security guard when they were trying to get money out the ATM machine. They attacked two of them. So they arrested him for that murder and for the ATM robbery. These are young guys, and this shows how things had really needed clean up, and it sucks how it's just nothing but black men that's killing each other.
Right.
Young black men that's killing each other, especially these rappers. You don't hear it, and you don't hear any other genre of music killing each other like this.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Yeah, the whole thing with Young Dolph in South Memphis, it was crazy. He pulled up to a cookie shop, like a regular cookie shop, mom and pop joint. He did like a video for him promoting the cookie shop, and he was buying something for his mom, like real wholesome stuff. Like Dolph is one of the only guys I've seen in rap that will be with like his wife and kids, like a family guy, like Ice Cube. And Are We There Yet? Like that. But at the same time, a street rapper is weird. But yeah, that was him. And killed him right in the middle of the daytime, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, in a shopping center. Let's go to 858 on the line. I'm a speaker to. 858, hello. Yes. Can you hear me?
Hi, is this ABL?
Yes, it is.
Hi, I just wanted, sorry, my phone's going to die. I just wanted to mention about what I think this case is going to be, how bad it's going to be for gun laws too, because did you see when, did you watch the whole trial?
I've seen a lot of it, not necessarily all of it though.
Okay, so there was a part in the trial where the defense lawyers were able to get him off on the underage or possession of gun charges because in the state of Wisconsin, you know, the short-barreled rifle versus long-barreled rifle, he had a long-barreled rifle, therefore it wasn't a part of the law as it was written in the law. And that kind of got me thinking, like, oh, shit. Now, sorry. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. It got me thinking, like, there's more at stake here than just, you know, the gun laws. They're going to really start sharpening up all these gun laws. I'm in San Diego, California, And it's already hard enough for me and my family to buy guns, which we've been desperately trying to do more and more lately. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think that might definitely be an issue depending upon the state. You know, so every state has their own different rules. Like where I live, we can carry whatever we want and it's fine. It's no problem with no permit or nothing. Now you can't conceal carry everything, but you can open carry whatever. So that's good. But I think certain states may try to go in a different direction, but it's all on us wherever we live to make sure it doesn't happen.
I'm just worried. I think it's going to be a huge turning point for more than just self-defense. They've already been on guns for a long time, and I just feel like I really heard the prosecution trying to push the whole video games and guns, underage and guns, and it's just, it's all bad.
Yeah, it really is. But hopefully that just stays in some of these really liberal and woke circles and does not reach out to the states where it matters. Like where I live, that's not even going to be a thing. You know, it's just not. These country boys in these mountains ain't going to go for it.
Shoot. Well, I wish California was like that, but I might have to move out. I'm born and raised in San Diego, 16th generation, and I might have to break that.
Maybe so.
Go somewhere else.
That's right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. All right. Living out there in San Diego, might as well go across the border and Tijuana come across, say, you know what, I'm illegal and I was mistreated in 2018. Give me my money. Might as well go ahead and do that. All right. Let's get to some more calls. Let's go 815. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Jacob.
All righty. What's going on?
Hey, ABL. How you doing today?
I'm good. Can't complain. About yourself?
I'm good. Wow. All right. Well, just a couple things that I just sort of heard that I want to regurgitate, I guess. I heard on Viva Frey or whatever, he has this other like lawyer guy on, and they were talking about how it was sort of course, the one lawyer, he's a lawyer, probably wants to, ridicule other lawyers. But anyway, so they allowed in the defense allowed in this evidence, this video evidence that had like captions, and it was like people like sending like super chats and shit. Or I'm sorry, ABL, I'm sorry, and stuff. And essentially some of the stuff, wasn't exactly, how people talk on the internet, it didn't look good for the defense, like a bunch of people talking smack on the internet, saying stuff like, oh, get that Antifa, blah, 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 saying stuff like that. So what were your thoughts on the defense allowing this video with these captions from people?
Well, I'm not really sure they can change that. I'm not sure what the defense could do to prevent that from being submitted. So I'm not sure how that process works. So I don't really have, I don't know what to say about that one. I mean, can they object? Gotcha. Can they say let's not allow that? Can they really, are they allowed to dictate what kind of video is submitted?
Well, they brought it in, but then again, I don't know if that's the only video. Maybe they really needed that video, and that's the only one they had. So, the benefits outweighed it, or they just didn't think about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something I really don't have an answer for.
But I haven't really watched the defense say their final thing, so I feel like I'm qualified to talk about it. But it just seems like the gist I get from people is nobody's excited about it. Nobody's oh yeah, the defense closing statements were clear.
I mean, there's not much more to say really, because everything that needed to be said was said in the beginning. Quite frankly, the closing statements is just kind of for a show. It's nothing there's no new information. So what's the point in doing it? It's just kind of okay, it's like a recap of the whole trial, because everything that was said was already said. So ain't no point really to me. I already know what the point is, that Kyle Rittenhouse had the rifle legally. It was not illegal. That was thrown out. Then I know that he was chased down, defended himself. He was not trying to antagonize anybody. He was not trying to harm anybody. There's video evidence. There's witnesses. Even the guy, Gage Gracecott, said that he didn't get shot until he pointed his gun at Kyle Rittenhouse. So it should be open and shut. Yeah. What more?
Oh, yeah, and I'm really
needs to be
freaked out
said?
by this video that they manipulated or whatever. What is up with that? That's weird.
I don't even know, but again, it doesn't even really matter. Quite frankly, it don't even matter. Like, it's really irrelevant. The jurors, I think, don't really care. It's like, okay, this video is grainy, that video isn't grainy. I've already decided what I'm gonna do halfway through the trial. So this is really irrelevant information.
Two really quick things. One is, do you think that the prosecution, like, taking the AR-15 and waving it around was like almost threatening the jury by like almost like pointing a gun at him, like, oh, you see, you know what I'm saying? Do you think they were trying to threaten the jury somehow? And two is, I forgot the second thing.
Well, as far as waving a gun around, I'm not sure if that was unintentionally to intimidate the jury, but I'm sure that some people in the jury might kind of feel intimidated, you know. And we just saw the whole thing with Alec Baldwin blasting his pistol on the movie set and killing a lady and shooting another guy, talking about, oh, he thought it was blanks in the. So I mean, that might kind of get you a little, even for me. And I'm not a guy to get scared. If I see that gun swinging my direction, I'm kind of just duck away because I don't know what's going on. Did you clear that round?
Yeah, that was Baldwin playing with prop gun or whatever. They're taking out supposedly to a range and shooting beer bottles with it. Like, that's so like disregard for like basic protocols.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's that somebody needs to go to jail for that, or a few people need to go to jail for that, because that was complete negligence, and the courtroom thing was pretty negligent as well. So yeah, that was really crazy. But again, I think ultimately, everybody has decided what they want to do in the jury, and some guys don't want to go for it. It might be
somebody
jury.
that feels the other way, though. You know, they're like a black, not Black Lives Matter activist. I don't mean that like a bad way, but like in an activist way, and they're just like, they've seen the media and stuff, and they want to be like that person. But like,
yeah, that can happen. That can happen too. But again, that's the same thing. They've already decided what they wanted to do from the beginning. They can see all the evidence. They can see that this was a clear case of self-defense. But it doesn't matter because they've already decided what they want to do from the start. They want to say, okay, I don't want this guy to go home. I don't care if all the evidence says that he should. I don't want it to happen. So,
and then there's like the whole jury selection thing. Like, I don't understand how that process works, because it seems like kind of weird. You can like weed out people, jury selection. Like, I don't know how they go about that. But
they're supposed to vet people through that process before they actually come to the courtroom. They're supposed to vet people. Yeah. But sometimes that doesn't really happen. There was one guy, I forget what the trial was. There was one guy that was actually an activist. He had gone to D.C. and had shirts on and took pictures with some of these other activists that were very well known nationally. He had a podcast and everything talking about activism, and he was on the jury. So you already know what he was going to do from the beginning as far as the verdict. But thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Have a good night. Thanks, bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, I forget what trial was that where the guy had a podcast. He had on a March T-shirt. He had on a T-shirt that had the March on it, and he had a podcast talking about activism, like left-wing stuff, a Sean King type cat. I forget what trial that was, but that was crazy. It's like, how did you not see this? All right, let's go to some more here. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. Let's go. All right. 928, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Wendy from Arizona.
Okay, let's turn the stream off in the background, please.
Okay.
All righty.
How about that?
That's perfect. What's going on?
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call. First of all, thank you. I mean, my husband, Jack, and I watch you religiously, so keep up the good work.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I just wanted to give kudos, first of all, to Peter Doocy from Fox News for asking the White House press secretary about why President Joe Biden once suggested Kyle was a white supremacist. I believe that once Kyle is found not guilty, I hope the lawsuits against all the networks who defamed his character are filed. So what is your opinion on what the president said and tweeted during the race for the 2020 presidential campaign?
Oh, it was very irresponsible because he didn't have the information. All he had was just some conjecture from some media types giving their opinion, but that's not responsible. If you're going to comment on a case like that, have some information first. You can't just say a thing. Like if somebody were to ask me about a thing that I don't know about, I would say, hey, I don't really understand what's going on. I don't really know. I hear this, I hear that, but I can't really tell you anything until I get information. That's just me as a regular citizen, as a regular person. I'm not an elected official. I'm not trying to become an elected official, but if I'm trying to become the president and I'm on a campaign trail, if I say something like that, it's very irresponsible, especially since I have a big platform and things that I say mean something to a lot of people. So people would just latch onto that narrative, even though it's not true, and it could be very damaging to the country.
Exactly. And I mean, obviously at this point, it was all for the votes. I mean, that's what I feel. So, I mean, I hope, Kyle is found not guilty and hopefully we can move on from this soon.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully this is not, it shouldn't be anything else other than not guilty, because if it is, then we know it's a politically driven trial, and that is a bad precedent to set for all of us in America. Exactly.
Well, thank you so much. And like I said, keep up the great work. And we will talk to you soon.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's
All
go,
right.
Brandon.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all for the call. But yeah, this is a pretty political case, straight up and down. 480, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Andre from Arizona.
All right, man. What's going on?
Hey, ABL, how you doing tonight, man? I appreciate the show. I've always tuned in. My first time calling in. I just wanted to let you know you're doing a good job, buddy. And what's going on in this Kyle Rittenhouse trial and what the prosecutors are doing is completely egregious to the judicial system of the United States of America. And it's absolutely atrocious what they're doing to this kid, and it's completely unfair. Anybody that's watching this trial should be completely sickened of what the prosecutor and the DA's office is doing to Kyle.
I agree 100%. This is really a political witch hunt. If not for the political narrative, then this wouldn't even be a case. Nobody would know about it. It's really open and shut. It's self-defense. But the only reason why it's anything else other than that in the eyes of some is because, it was a Black Lives Matter protest, and then stories get told, all types of fan fiction gets created out of nowhere. People still don't know to this day right now that Kyle Rittenhouse did not kill Jacob Blake. And Jacob Blake is not even dead. Jacob Blake didn't die. I saw a person on TV, Ai Weiwei, on one of these alphabet letter networks. She said that Jacob Blake is dead. He's not dead. People don't know what's happening because they're so brainwashed by a lot of the wormy way the media gets a narrative out there. It's really a shame.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, ABL. It's all about the narrative. It's not about justice anymore, and that's what kind of makes me sick watching this trial, man. But,
I hear you.
I appreciate the content, man. I'll get you back. Have a good night, all right? I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you. Yeah, so remember, I was talking about the whole thing with Ai Weiwei. I'm going to try to find that clip right quick. She said Jacob Blake is dead. First of all, Jacob Blake got shot by the police, not by Kyle Rittenhouse. And he was shot because he was trying to kidnap his kids, and he had assaulted his baby mama, all this. It was a mess. And he was trying to go for the police, trying to fight the police, and they shot him as a result. He didn't die. He got sit up in the wheelchair, but he's not dead. But they just say stuff that doesn't even, with no evidence, with nothing. They just put it out there and don't even really care about being correct. They don't care about reporting accurately. See, I care about what I do. I try to make sure that I check and double check and triple check before I say anything, so I don't say anything that's incorrect. I'm not going to sit here and say something that's not true like that. I'm just not going to do it. Okay? And that's part of the reason why people watch, is because I'm not going to sit here and tell you a lie. Matter of fact, here it is. not only will I not tell you a lie, I'm not going to tell you an uninformed thing. I won't give you an uninformed statement. So this is on MS13 DNC, and shout out to Nuance Bro for the video. Now I'll put this on the screen right quick. So this person right here on the left, that's what's a man's name? Jonathan Capehart. Jonathan Capehart is one of these Don Lemon type guys that talks about how racist and dangerous the white man is. But both him and Don Lemon are married to white men. I didn't say that incorrectly. They're both married to white men, males. Okay, so let's check it out. Hold on, I'm gonna play this entire thing. I'm gonna get straight to the meat and potatoes, where she says that Jacob Blake is dead, even though he's not. Let's get to about 5:15.
Violating Wisconsin law, violating a curfew, was because Jacob Blake was killed by a police officer, and his uncle, who's also...
Jacob Blake was not killed by a police officer. Jacob Blake was shot but didn't die. And this whole thing about, they violated curfew, my state lines. If Kyle Rittenhouse shouldn't have been out there past curfew, then nobody should have been out there. Was a curfew only for Kyle Rittenhouse? Was a curfew only from guys from Antioch, Illinois? Or was it for everyone? Nobody should have been out there. So why look at these violent criminals that attacked Kyle Rittenhouse as good guys that didn't do anything wrong when they were also violating the curfew when they shouldn't have had guns? Now, these guys, Kyle Rittenhouse had his gun lawfully. He had a long barrel rifle. Okay, that was lawful. But Gage Grosskreutz had a pistol illegally as a convicted felon, concealed. Do you have a permit for that, sir? Gage Grosskreutz should be the one getting locked up, not Kyle Rittenhouse. But let me get to some more here. All right, let's go to 601. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. I'm calling from Ohio. It's OC.
All righty, what's going on?
So, well, just want to say I do like your show. I have a question and a comment. So,
Alrighty.
I just got done making myself a cup of tea and wondered, you always get a cup of tea during your show and wondered what you drink.
It's whatever my wife brings me. I don't even know what it is. I'm not sure what this is. I have no idea. You got to ask her.
Okay, good to know. Well, I guess good to not know, but so with kids getting the vaccines now, my daughter came home. She's in fourth grade. She told me that one of her classmates said she can't attend a birthday party if she's not vaccinated. Like, it's at that level with the kids now, like 8-year-olds.
You know, and that's crazy. It's all coming from the adults, obviously. It's coming from possibly their parents, the teachers, and the media.
Right.
It's kind of a full court press. And then when they go on social media, if they have any kind of technology, if they're watching television, it's everywhere. I saw a comic strip today with Superman and a mask. Why? It's not because he needs it. I mean, this guy is indestructible. I mean, unless the virus is airborne krypton, he does not need the mask. But that's part of the brainwashing. They get it from everywhere. See, us, we didn't grow up like that. But a lot of these kids, they're being introduced to this kind of stuff for the very first time, and they just believe it. They're like sponges, of course. So it's crazy that that's happening to kids.
No, it is. Like, I just had to tell, because I'm not vaccinated, but her dad is. And I keep telling her all the time, like, you know, you see me walking around here, I'm healthy. And we know a lot of people who've had COVID and they're still fine, they're healthy. So don't let, you know, what other kids say make you scared. Like, you know we're okay. I keep having to tell her that all the time.
Right. Yeah, it's good. It's good that you do, because a lot of these kids, they need that. They need that encouragement. They need that upliftment.
And I you know, we've been going back and forth, but if you're in a household like mine, it's going to cause issues because one spouse is vaccinated, the other is not. So when it comes to the kids, it's like, you know, who's going to win that?
Right. Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks, ABL.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay.
So yeah, here's that comment strip I was talking about, Superman comment strip. I'm gonna put it on the screen right quick, just so you guys can see it. You know, I'm not making it up. You know, I can't make this stuff up. So here it is. right? And let me see if I can actually read the strip or just describe it to you if you're just watching. So it's 3 panels, just, one image on Twitter. And the top panel, it's like a hospital. And there's 2 ambulances in the regular car. There's somebody, I guess, on a stretcher, maybe even the body bag, because they're kind of covered up in the green sheet. And they're being carried out. And the person is saying, I don't know. I don't. And like in the next slide, they're sitting down, kind of like looking distressed, disheveled. They got a mask on and their eyes are pointing to the ground. They appear to be gender nonconforming. I can't tell what gender this person is. They got kind of like Jay-Z, Basquiat looking hair, dreads everywhere, mask on, brown skin. And it's a person right beside them, I guess, that's continuing to bring the body inside. And then here comes Clark Kent, Superman, in his full costume, of course, flying. He's saying, Dr. Edwards, call Metropolis General and let them know all these patients and transports are on their way. I'll do the rest. And he's wearing the mask in the actual strip here. So it's like, when your kids see stuff like that, when your kids see TikTok videos of their favorite celebrity wearing the mask, Sesame Street, all that, everything is everywhere. You can't escape it. This is part of the reason why guys like me have to exist, to counteract that narrative. Because if we didn't exist, if we weren't on popular platforms, the only narrative would be that. That'd be the only thing you ever see. That'd be the only thing your kids ever see. If they watch any kind of entertainment, that'd be all that they see. Okay? And the ultimate goal is to do this whole, stuff that's illegal right now, trying to make that legal. And I'll just leave that there and continue on with the calls. Let's get to, all right, y'all hang tight. All right, on your line, 717, who am I speaking to?
That'll be the only thing your kids ever see. If they watch any kind of entertainment,
717, hello.
Okay? And
all right, 717, you're not ready. If you call on the phone, have your ear to the phone, be ready to pick up. Let's go to the next one here. All right. 713, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 713, hello. Going once, going twice. I'm not sure. I mean, it's not me. So you guys, if you're calling in, please be ready to answer. Have your ear to the phone. If you're trying to sync it to the stream, it's not going to work, I promise. Matter of fact, when I do answer, turn the stream off in the background because I can hear that if you have your speakers on. And if I can hear it, so can the audience, and it interferes with the call. So let's go to the next one here. Let's go. All right. 910, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, you are the man. How you doing? This is Kim.
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm in Carolina Beach, loving life like you could not imagine. But I'll tell you something that's been keeping me up at night, and I am so worried about these people, the Haitian people that came over the border. They set up that camp in record time. It was beautiful. Do you remember the beautiful camp they set up?
Not quite beautiful, but I do remember the camp.
Well, you've got to admit, these people, they had nothing. And they came over and they set up house in 2.5 seconds. And they had huts and they had water and they had a library. They had everything going on there. So they're there and they're doing their thing. And the next thing you know, they say, okay, we've sent 1,000 of them back. I think it was around 1,000 of them. And I wish I had exact dates for you, but I had it all written down at one point. But anyway, they sent 1,000 of them back to Haiti. And, they were mad about that. Then the next thing you know, they say, well, we've redistributed or rehomed another 5,000 people. Okay, well, a couple of days after that, I wake up and I look on the TV and I see them. They have torn down their camp. There were 9,000 people left because there were 15,000 to begin with. The math just does not add up. Where are these 9,000 people? They never told us what happened to them.
They're here. They're in the U.S. They let them in. That's what happened. Like they were talking about they were sending some back, but they sent a handful back. But what they did was allow the vast majority to come on in, and that became an eyesore. That became an embarrassment to the point where they were trying to block air traffic in that area, so you couldn't have any drones fly up and take pictures. That didn't work.
Yeah.
So what they did was just gradually, in the dark of night, just let them come in, and then they said, "Oh,
in the
well."
dark of night, in the dark of night, they cleaned them out too. There were 9,000 left. The next day, there were none.
Yeah, they're gone. They're in the U.S. They're in the U.S.
I hope you're right. I hope they're in the U.S. and, living high on the hog somewhere. Because let me tell you, history, as I'm sure you've figured out by now, repeats itself over and over. And Hitler had concentration camps 6 years before anybody even knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about these people, okay? If they said 1,000 of them went back, 5,000 more were redistributed into the United States here and there, and then 9,000 just disappeared, is what it looks like to me, and nobody has said a word about it.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. There should be transparency. We should be allowed to know what is happening to these people when they're coming in. They're keeping all this secret. And I think something funky's going on now. It might just be conspiracy, but I can do math, as I'm sure you can too.
Yes.
We need to look into this. ABL, we need to look into this.
Well,
we need
yeah.
to find out where they are.
We do. We gotta find out what's going on. But I think most of them are probably here. Like a lot of them probably went to New York, Miami, typical places. That's probably what happened.
I know some people that have come in at other times during the course of events. A lot of them actually work for us. But anyway, that's beside the point. They're trying to call these people. They said they'll, be offline for like 2 or 3 days. It's been about 8-9 weeks now. They haven't heard from these people.
Right.
This is why I'm contacting you. This is why I called you like 50 times until I could get to talk to you, because I think somebody needs to look into this.
Right.
I'm highly concerned.
Well, thank you for the call.
Like
Definitely
I said,
appreciate you.
Yeah, I've talked to people down in Donna, Texas and stuff. I've called a lot of places, and everybody's like, "Oh, don't you worry about it," and "Thank you for your concern." And that's about all that ever happens.
Of course, they don't want to tell you the reality. They're here in the United States. They're just in wherever they want to be. That's what happened. It just kind of cleared it out, brought everybody in, and then cleaned the mess up so it did not become an eyesore. That's all.
Don't you think the 9,000 people was kind of fast? The 9,000 that were left?
I mean, yeah, but like the thing is, it didn't want to allow them in the country at once before there was pressure, but then they cleared it out, so now they're here. But thank you for the call. I gotta write the show up. Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Look into it for me, okay?
I got you. Thank you. All right. But nah, I mean, they're here. That's really just the bottom line. I understand what she's saying, like as far as, well, they did it pretty quickly and whatnot, but nah, they're in the U.S., hanging out, chilling, dancing the kumbaya, whatever they call that somewhere. But anyway, thank you for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internets. I'll be back live again tomorrow night on Tatum's channel at 8:30. It's a time change because Tatum's over there in Arizona and they don't do daylight savings. So it's 5:30 for him in Arizona time, but 8:30 for me, if I'm not mistaken. So, pardon me, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Tatum's channel tomorrow. And then, of course, I'll be live again on Saturday on my channel. And I do videos throughout the week, pre-recorded 10-minute videos all throughout the week, Monday through Saturday. I do my videos right here on the channel. And, of course, y'all go to ablmerch.com if you want the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, and more that I got. I got brand new merch on there. I got new merch coming ASAP. Go to ablmerch.com for that. Also go to anthonyblogan.com. If you want to see all my sources for each video I do, I'll write an article about it right on the website. And there's also a contact page. You can email me. You can send me stuff in the mail. All that stuff is on my contact page. And of course, my social media is on there. My Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, that's all there. And of course, go to BHEdesigns.com. Christmas coming up. You want to get a good gift for your loved one, for yourself, or whoever. You can get these beautiful handmade wooden flags that are just like those or one of your very own. Links for that in the box below, bcdesigns.com. Also, go to patriotpost.us, the best source news and information anywhere on the internets. Again, patriotpost.us. Check them out. All my links will be in the description box below, and this show will be available as an audio-only podcast. Shout out to all the truckers out there. Shout out to everybody that commutes, everybody that does whatever you do. If you want audio only, you don't want the big video bandwidth, go to Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Play, wherever you listen to podcasts. This will be available under ABL Live. Just search that. I should pop right on up. And there's always a link in the box. Whatever you got a question for, links will be in the description box below. All right. I have super chats on deck, and then I wrap it on up, put the bow clean on top. So y'all just hang tight for that part. And then we out of here. So let's go back to where I left off. Let me see. Dungus Fun says, treason, the reason you can sue them is for religious beliefs, which is on the book. Same thing with politics. Blast Radius says, what's your view on Tariq Nasheed? And thank you for the donation. Definitely appreciate you. Tariq Nasheed is okay sometimes. That's my view on him. He's okay sometimes, but not all the time. I agree with some things he says, but not about everything he says. You know, that's kind of how I view it. Shout out to Lily J for the donation. Shout out to Ben Grimerson, who says the world needs to disconnect from the TV antennas, play video games instead. 100. There you go. Just enjoy life rather than having the TV try to make you be depressed and want to, base jump from the Empire State Building. But anyway, thank you to Josh Faust for the donation. Thank you to Brian Baker, who says free cow. Thank you to EP for the super chat emoji donation. Thank you to Fauna Faye, who says, saw your video talking about Charlamagne the God. He is what led me to you. Always talking down on the right, calling conservatives right-wingers, conspiracists. Glad I found you, love the message you bring. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. I'm glad that he was able to bring you my direction from what he was saying. Okay? He doing some good work out here. Shout out to Sloppy Joe, who says, if Kyle is found guilty, then America will know for sure that BLM and Antifa is running the justice system, an incredibly important verdict ahead. Thank you to Joe Ryder 84, who says, ABL, have you seen David Carroll's videos? You seem to be saying the thing he says about the black church. I've seen him before. Yeah, I watched him back in the day when I first got into doing content. I've not seen him lately, but we all see what's happening with the black church. That's obvious. I mean, I grew up around the black church, not in the black church, if that makes any sense. And I just see it. It's obvious. Anybody can see it. If you just witness it, it's clear to see what's going on. The pastor is pimping. Quite frankly, it's a mess. And a bunch of women in there getting pimped by the preacher. The black man's not there because he don't like getting pimped by the preacher unless he's, of an alternative lifestyle. Then it's okay, right? But I won't go down that road. Anyway, we'll move on. Bo versus Windshield says, big shout out to the good people in Poland. I watched their EU rep rip the leaders of the EU a new one. It's about immigration, EU mandates. I might get into that because I've been kind of observing that casually, kind of on the side. I've been watching the whole border thing with Belarus and whatnot. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one. Thank you to Seamus Smurf, pardon me, who says, do people think intimidating the jury in the Rittenhouse case? Hold on. Do those who are intimidating the jury in the Rittenhouse case not realize they're being watched too? They probably don't really care. Just like these guys in Chicago that commit crime over and over and over and over and over again. They don't really care. I mean, are they going to get punished? That's $1 million question, ain't it? Thank you to Jedi 2 billion, who says, without you go to jail, will the mandate never end? Great questions. Thank you to Lone Wolf 36S, who says, we have love for you, ABL. Hope you know that, my dude. Thank you as always. Thank you for that. Thank you to Dead Zone, who says, type Igor Danchenko right now in Google Trends. Choose U.S. only, and you will see that most requests coming from Washington, D.C. Very interesting. Thank you to Fauna Faye, who says, shout out to Brianna Mitchell Smith, for being the first trans sexiest man alive, according to People magazine. She's doing her thing. Crazy. Think it's Buck versus Winfield, who says illegals being shipped at night by the hundreds of thousands. It's Democrats getting revenge on the Republican Underground Railroad back in Civil War. Wow, that's deep. Thank you to Bryden Phillips, who says, great show as always. Thank you for that. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Joe Ryder 84, who says, do you think PBS should be getting no funding due to their biasness? Of course. They shouldn't be getting any kind of public funding. None whatsoever. You know, they shouldn't. Yeah, that should have been started a long time ago. Think it's Buck versus Winfield, who says, say FBI remember, while not every Democrat was a slave owner, all slave owners were Democrats. Not a single slave owner was Republican. Facts. Big facts. People don't know that. They think that Republicans were all the slave owners. The first Republican president was Abraham Lincoln. He freed the slaves. So it's crazy. But you guys have been a great audience. Fantastic as always. Again, I'll be back live again tomorrow on Tatum's channel, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, not 9:30, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll be live again here on Saturday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And that'll be your wrap. So, shout out to the mods for doing what you do, keeping all the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all. Couldn't do it without you. And thank you to Elvin for the final super chat right there. I appreciate you for that. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.